You got more fucking shoes than Imelda Marcos and shit. Remember Imelda Marcos?
Yeah.
Jen
Imelda taxes are for the little people. Marcos. Yeah.
Jen, I bought so many fucking shoes and boots and shit for Jen. Jen's like a fucking footwear goddess. I got her some sexy shit the other day. Look at this shit.
I put them on today to see if I'd be able to wear them out.
Yeah.
Without falling on my ass.
Look at them fucking sand. They're like sandals. Look how fucking sexy.
I should be able, as long as I don't like try to walk too much in them, or and as long as I don't get too drunk.
They got buckles going down the side. You'll get used to them.
Because I'll probably fall.
You get used to them.
We'll see how it goes.
Well, here's the thing.
So I might come back on Monday being like, yep, I fell over.
It's not like back in the day where we had to fucking park far away. We park close. So just bring another pair of boots if you can't.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll switch them out. You know
and
what
I'll
I mean?
just go out to the
If you're like, I can't take it, fucking just walk out there and fucking switch them out.
And switch them out, yeah. Some flatter ones. Yeah.
No one will even notice.
That's a good idea. Probably not. Because I really do like those shoes, and I did want to wear them with the dress. I'll probably wear that. Tom also got me like this, like a Morticia type dress.
Yeah, it's a real fucking low cut. Her boobs are fucking great on it. Fucking real high slits up on the sides. They're fucking. She's got this.
And long, like the sleeves like that.
Yeah. And Jen's got these fucking awesome legs and ass now, so you can fucking see it. She take that shit out to the club. She's gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear that.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I would go bare-legged too.
Yeah, it'd probably be a lot cooler, probably.
Yeah.
Although I think it's not going to be that hot tomorrow. It was surprisingly chilly today.
Yeah.
Oddly, for being late March. I think it only got up to like 64, like even in the middle of the day, which is crazy for this time of year. And I think this morning it was like 48, which we went out to go to the store, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Not complaining. I just thought it was weird. Because usually it'd be fucking 85 degrees by now. But, you know, happy it's not. But this is probably like the last cool snap, I would imagine. Yeah. So, yeah, American Military 100, we were talking about this before we started the stream. So Jenny was listening to a movie retrospective from back in the day and was surprised on how different your voice is now.
It ain't just the voice, though.
Yeah.
It ain't just the
Lots
voice.
of other changes, I'll say. But,
yeah.
Which, I don't know. Like I said, it's
Jenny kind of had a childlike voice for somebody who was in her late 30s. You know, when I first met her, and she was in her late 40s when you started going on gear, on and off, or was it early 50s?
Probably early 50s.
Early 50s, yeah. And that was, you know, during time when she went through fucking menopause. If you fucking know what you're doing, man, you got to increase androgenicity. Or women will start suffering from osteoporosis. They'll start to become, sex drive fucking kind of diminishes. They start putting on a lot of fat. They start losing muscle mass and just withering away. So, hormones and other fucking modifications. Jen's looking good. She's fucking strong. She's fucking squatting. What was it? 210 pounds, and can actually, we're gonna move her up to 220. She's doing
because I could still do that. It was hard, but I could still do that. So next time I'm gonna have to put more weight on.
Yeah, her legs are fucking looking really good.
But like I said, even before I started lifting weights, like I always had like really strong legs.
Yeah.
You know.
And one of the things, the side byproducts is that everything in you beefs up, including your vocal cords. So women kind of get to, they go fucking Klingon warrior woman, you know, they kind of get I
don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, it's kind of a raspier, deeper, tougher version of their voices. Now somebody says, well, it sounds like a man. No, it doesn't. If you put her next to a man, she doesn't sound anything like a real man. She might sound like a soy boy, because some of those dudes don't have any testosterone in them at all. But I don't really consider them men, you know. You put me next to those guys and we look like a different gender, you know. Fucking, they don't go through puberty the right way, you know. So it all just depends on what you consider a man is.
Well,
they got these beautiful females that are fucking fitness instructors that are just fucking shredded. They look, no man when he gets shredded can look that way. That's only a woman can look like that. And these little fat boys will see that and go, she looks like a man. No, it's just that you don't look like a man. You know, you look like a ball of fat. That bitch looks like a fucking lioness. You know, and it hurts your ego that she's probably stronger than you.
Well.
Or faster, you know.
And that's the thing. It's like, I didn't really notice, like, my voice changing until somebody pointed it out to me, like a friend of ours who was watching one of our old videos and was like, I didn't realize it either, but I watched one of you guys' old videos.
I noticed it a couple years ago.
And, yeah. But like I said,
you know when I noticed it? You gained the ability to yell.
Yeah.
To yell loud enough to fucking make my ears ring. And I was like, God damn. Because your voice, your diaphragm got so much stronger in your vocal cords, you know. She could yell and it would fucking, my ears would ring. She took her a while to get to where she could control her voice. Because she wasn't trying to yell loud. She was just she'd get excited and doing a show and fucking like, ow. You know. Because she can bellow when she needs to.
Yeah. Which I never really did before. I always had kind of a quiet voice.
Quiet, yeah.
Because you always had, you have a really loud voice, but I always have had.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that. But we're both getting kind of deaf nowadays, though.
Yeah, we can't really hear that.
So it's like, so if he yells something at me from the other room, blah, 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 I'm like, what? What? Come here and talk to me. I can't fucking hear you.
Yeah.
It just sounds like Charlie Brown's mom from that distance.
Yeah. And another thing is that the way this microphone records her voice, I listen to her on the show, and she doesn't sound that way in person. She does. It needs to be adjusted a little bit. Her voice isn't that baritone.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not. And the thing is, I listen to my voice on video like all the time because I make videos and I listen to them back to edit them, obviously.
But you don't hear yourself in person through somebody else's ears.
No.
You don't. Your voice doesn't sound that deep. It doesn't sound that baritone in person. But it does when you record it.
Well, it doesn't really sound that deep to me when I record it either. Which that's why I always think it's kind of amusing.
You're used to hearing that, though.
That's true.
You're used to hearing that. I'm used to hearing it actually coming out of your mouth, and there's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true.
It has to do with the equalization of that microphone.
Yeah. CB said, Jenny, you sound sexy. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, I thought so. What do I know?
She's got a raspy kind of voice. Rough.
I got some Kim Carnes shit going on.
Yeah, like Kim Carnes.
Sorry, I've had Betty Davis eyes
stuck
in my head. Yeah. Well, no, because he played that at Barbarella like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And it's been stuck in my head since then.
Yeah. It's a good song, man.
I think Eric requested it.
Yeah.
Because he was super jacked when that came on.
Yeah.
Not my brother Eric. We know another guy named Eric. But yeah. Because he doesn't hardly ever play that, but he did play it. Tammy says, Jenny, did you know there is a Nosferatu from 2023 with Doug Jones as Count Orlok? I did not know that. What the fuck happened in that movie? You'd think that everybody would have been talking about it. It had Doug fucking Jones in it. Huh. Okay, now I'm going to have to find that. Now I'm going to write that down. Because otherwise I'll forget. But man, I love
like
Doug
everybody's
Jones.
starting to show up.
Yeah.
CB's in, Tammy's here, High Desert's in. What's up, High Desert?
I'm going to even write Doug Jones on there so I don't forget.
Tetsuo Iron Man is saying, can you lick my boot, you little worm? I don't know what that's from. I don't know the character.
Oh, well, I mean, somebody might just have a fetish.
You might be a little fetish, yeah.
Like, wanting me to be a dom or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Lick my boot, you little
Soon
worm.
we'll be able to fucking put her in, put her in one of those fucking Soul Calibur fucking costumes of Ivy. That remember fucking the ever seen Ivy?
You showed me.
Yeah. She'd be great to have in an Ivy costume, just boobalicious with the fucking sword and shit.
I always thought I'd make a pretty good dominatrix. Actually,
Yeah,
like
that's what
I said,
she was.
If a dude wants me like to pay me to step on their nuts, then I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Ivy was.
Or make them eat out of a dog bowl or drink out of the toilet.
The Ivy character was a fucking daughter of a fucking alchemist in the 1700s, and she's a 1700s woman, or maybe 1600s, but she's also a dominatrix. She says shit like "suffer," you know. It's like, you know, stop your whining, you know. She has a sword that turns into a whip, and then it goes back into the fucking sword, you know.
Yeah, you showed me that.
Yeah.
It's a whip sword.
Yeah.
House of Whip Sword.
Yeah. How pathetic. She says things like that.
Oh, Tammy says that movie's on Tubi. Oh, even better. We like free shit. Zach says, I always thought a deeper, raspy type voice on a woman was kind of sexy. I think that's part of why I love Janis Joplin. I also love Janis Joplin. She's super cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. High Desert said, I had to deal with an angry pre-K at the school today. Damn kid was shrieking like Linda Blair. I thought her head would spin and she'd puke. God, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with children.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, so today is Friday.
Yay.
It's like open lines Friday. Any questions you guys have, if you want to talk about any cases from the past or anything you got on your mind about the future, ideas for future shows, just complaints about bullshit, you want to talk about fucking anything, fucking relationships, whatever, we can talk about it. You can just drop it in the comment section. If not, me and Jen are just going to sit here and drink fucking vodka.
And you're going to watch. No.
Yeah. Drinking vodka, Arnold Palmer style fucking vodka.
Which
tea and lemonade.
I keep seeing a commercial on YouTube for like a canned vodka and iced tea drink.
Yeah.
Called Sun something.
Yeah.
I remember what the can looks like, but I don't remember the name. It's
probably not real vodka.
Not a very effective commercial, I guess. I can't really remember the name.
Yeah.
Sun like Shiner. No, that's not it. It's something like that. I don't remember what it's called. But I guess it's one of those ones like they used to sell at Barbarella when it was at the pickleball place, and they didn't have the whole liquor license. You know, where they'd sell like the gin and tonic, the Seagram's gin and tonic in the can, and those actually weren't too bad.
Zach's asking you a question.
What case did y'all cover that bothered you the most? Ooh.
For me, it was the one of that dude who had that dead body in his house and was screwing it.
Yeah.
He dug her up. He didn't kill her, but he dug her up out of the dam.
Well, yeah, I think.
Florida.
I mean, the necrophilia one seemed to bother you the most. Mostly, it's because probably, and I don't even think we've covered this on the show. I've been wanting to do a show about this, even though it's like really soul crushing. But I always wanted to do the murder of Sylvia Likens, which if you have read the Jack Ketchum novel, The Girl Next Door, which was made into a movie, actually was made into 2 different movies, both of which are pretty good, but the book is like way fucking worse. The book is fictionalized, but it's more or less based on a real case, and is basically a girl that got
tortured to
her
death.
Parents died,
Yeah.
and her sister, who was I think a paraplegic or quadriplegic, they ended up with this, she was a distant relative or like a family friend or something like that, and this woman like essentially tortured the girl and got like all the neighborhood boys in on it, like to rape her and torture her and stuff like that. It was pretty fucked up
for no real reason.
Yeah, it was just, and like I said, I think what horrified me the most is that it was a woman doing that, which you don't usually see. I mean, women do fucked up shit too, but it's like you don't usually see that. If a man had done it, it wouldn't have surprised me as much. Yeah. But I think because it was like an older woman, and the fact that she got so many kids like in on it, like, hey, come on, and they're all like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, great.
Women have done women.
And then it happened like in the 60s, I think, 50s or 60s.
Women are capable of fucking incredible cruelty and violence towards other women and children. Fucking horrible. I had that woman who was killed a couple of her daughters. Remember that one? And was pimping them out. Shot one of them and killed her because she dug back in there trying to get the bullet back out of her before she let her go. She was making them turn themselves out at the fucking truck stops. They were like 15 and 16.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
I don't know.
The cops found it like a teenage girl burned up inside of a cardboard box. She had a cut in her back. And they never could figure out who that kid was. Years later, some adult woman came forward and says that girl was my sister and my mother killed her. And she told the whole fucking story. It was fucking bizarre. I forgot the name of that case. I forgot the name of those people. But I've seen interviews with her. She said she was just like the mother from hell.
Yeah,
she was extremely jealous of the daughter, so she'd make them eat fucking like tubs of Crisco
to get them to
try to get them fat. Because she was jealous of how thin they were.
Yeah.
Because she was good looking. The mama was good looking, but as she got older, she started getting fat. So she started taking it out on among other things. She was a fucking nut. Prostituting out her own teenage daughters.
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
Yeah. Killed one of them.
What the fuck is the matter with some people?
Well, she shot her first when she was littler. and she lived. Shot her with a 25. And then that girl says, she was older sister to the one that survived, I think. And she says, I'm leaving this, I'm leaving. She was old enough to leave. She goes, you're not going anywhere with that bullet in you. I don't want you coming back here and fingering me. So she says, okay, cut it out. She fucking took a knife and fucking cut into her and tried to got the bullet out, but it killed her. The operation killed her.
Yikes.
Yeah, then they put her in. She put her in a box and made the little sister help. They took her out to a kind of a wooded area, put her in a cardboard box and set her on fire. She was dead, but they tried to burn the body.
If you remember that case, like tell me and I'll write it down. We can put it in the poll.
Grok 3 will remember it. That thing remembers anything. I fucking come up. I said, you know this and that? And it'll go, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I could describe what happened in security footage and it'll tell you what the case that came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Iris said she heard about that.
Yeah.
The mom got jealous of their daughters because they became more beautiful. That's like some weird, like, fucking Snow White shit.
Yeah. Yeah. She was getting unemployment, but she was making them suck dicks down at the damn truck stop. Ain't that something? And they were like 14 and 13 and shit. Like 12 and 14. Make them do that.
Oh, I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
Like
Come back with that money.
Some trashy ass.
Trashy ass shit. Yeah.
Trashy.
And then that one was fucking pretty bad. We were talking about shit that women have done. Another one was, I don't remember the name of the case. I had this little chubby girl in high school. She was cute, but she was chubby. And she didn't think that she was pretty. She wasn't getting any action at school, evidently. And these two young lesbian girls started fucking showing her a bunch of attention. So she started hanging out with them, and they were dating her. And the two girls ended up fighting over her. And they threw her in the back of a fucking trunk and drove her around for a while. And then they took her someplace and opened the trunk and shot her while she was in the trunk. But she wasn't dead. Then they poured gasoline on her and set her afire when she was, or when she was alive. You know, it was just, that one was pretty bad too. They had like beat her up and tortured her for a long time too before they did that. And it was just, that was teenage girls.
Yeah.
That did that. So there's no telling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they do messed up stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, there was that case was it in Australia or New Zealand? It's that one they made that movie. What was it called? Beautiful Creatures or Heavenly Creatures or something like that, about that case. I can't remember their names. But it was the same kind of thing, like two girls that killed their friend or something.
Yeah.
CB said, was that the one that made her kid pretend to be disabled and the kid killed her mom to escape her? No, that was Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And didn't she get her boyfriend to kill the mom?
Yeah. So I remember that.
We did that. We covered that, I think. But I was kind of like, I think a lot of people didn't really blame her because her mom sucked so much.
There was another one where a woman took her kid and told everybody that there was something wrong with it and kept it tied up, and it never developed. And then she would just tie it to the toilet, and she kept that kid in there. I think it was to her late teens, early 20s before somebody found it. And she was feral and almost kind of like twisted up.
Yeah.
But there was nothing wrong with her. It's just that the kid never moved.
Right.
And it never got any kind of education, never taught it how to talk. Remember that case?
Yeah, vaguely.
The woman just did it to the kid, and they said it was the worst case of child abuse they had ever seen.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like, well, what was that one case that was real famous? I think we've covered it on the show with that girl that was like raised like that, like just tied up in a cage or in a box or something, mm-hmm. and she never learned to talk and stuff. So they were kind of using her as an example of, you know, nature versus nurture, like trying to tease apart those two things.
Well, they had a Russian one that was like that acted like a dog.
Yeah.
Because the mama kept it with dogs.
Yeah.
And it was a teenager. And she ran on all fours and barked. She couldn't talk.
Yeah.
She never.
I think that was the same. Maybe that
one.
might be.
That was over in Russia.
Oh no, maybe not.
I can't
remember where that girl was from. Yeah. The one I'm thinking about.
Russia, Georgia, or some places like that.
Oh yeah, Tetsuo says Slender Man. That was a different case. Those two girls that killed that other girl, like to sacrifice the Slender Man. Or whatever the fuck. I think we might have covered that. Maybe not on its own, but I think we did talk about that Slender Man case. What are you doing now?
Loosening my boot.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's that fucking weird noise?
Yeah, my boot. This pair of boots is held together with Velcro. Remember?
Yeah.
The fasteners.
Tammy says, I also found out there was an island man back in the 70s. Look up the North Fox Island pedo ring. The man's name, Frank Sheldon.
You doing, Bo?
Yeah, I'm sure that's not a new thing, actually. Yeah, High Desert said that girl was from California. I'm thinking maybe the one that I was talking about, maybe.
What girl's from California?
The one I just said.
Okay, the one you were talking
probably
about?
the one that I was talking about.
Yeah, okay.
CB said most of the true crime podcasts have a difficult time doing the John Wayne Gacy case. Yeah, I mean, all of that kind of shit is fucked up. Anytime that there's anything having to do with people that keep people for a long time or torture them or do, like, Jeffrey Dahmer shit, like drilling into their heads and all that kind of crap. Or, you know, the guys that had the fucking truck and they would pick up girls and, like, torture them in the back. And
yeah, that was the toolbox killers.
Yeah, like that kind of crap. It's like anything like that is, like, really, really difficult.
Dean Coral. That was the worst
Yeah,
one.
that was fucked up. The
Candy
man.
Yeah, tying the two boys to the board. Making them kill each other to avoid torture, that kind of shit. They were brothers and shit. He would do all kinds of weird shit to them.
Some people are just really, really messed up. Really messed up.
Sticking glad rods down their urethras and breaking them with fucking...
Yeah, that's right.
Pliers.
Eesh.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah, he was a fucking evil, evil homosexual. Evil fucking... he was worse than Panzeram as far as evil homosexuals. I don't even think that I wouldn't even really call Panzeram a homosexual in a weird way. He was just a hater of men. He had a war against men because they were bad to him. He'd rape and kill them. And humiliate them and shit. And little boys, too.
Yeah, it seemed like he was just getting off on that. Like,
yeah, he just hated males. He didn't do anything to women. He had sexualized his hatred for men.
Yeah. That dude was like...
He was the devil.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He seemed to have, like, no redeeming qualities. I mean, a lot of them don't, but... You know what I mean? American Military said, Jenny, how would you react if one of the unidentified serial killers you've written about started communicating with you? Well, first, I'd probably shit a brick. And two, I don't think I would respond, to be honest with you.
If something like that happened...
No good can come of that.
If something like that happened, we would assume that it was a hoax.
I would probably assume it was a hoax. Yeah. But, you know what I mean? You never know. It has occurred to me. You know what I mean? We haven't talked about too many that haven't been caught. I think the only one... Well, we did talk about Lisk, but they caught him. And, Long Island serial killer. And we've talked about the Texas killing fields, which is numerous uncaught serial killers. But, I don't know. To be honest, it would be really strange if any of them had, like, just seen the show, for one thing. And I don't know, I kind of feel like a lot of serial killers get off on being talked about. So
there's not as many of them as there were, though.
No, I definitely feel like there's they're still out there, like, running around, but I don't think there's as many as there were.
They're mostly busy
during the heyday.
And they're also going to be busy.
Yeah, busy doing serial killer shit.
Yeah, they're busy focused on their own shit. They're not really listening to podcasts, I don't think.
I would think not.
Yeah.
You never know, though. Yeah, because CB said, do you think you've had a serial killer in the live chat? It's possible. I mean, it's probably, like, statistically, it's probably pretty unlikely, but it's not impossible. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure we've had people in there that have committed other kind of crimes, even if they're not a serial killer.
I know a lot of people that have committed crimes. Done time for it.
Yeah, so I'm just
not really a big deal for me. Depends on what it is.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying it's like, there might have been rapists in there or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, Tetsuo says, Dear serial killer, please come visit us. We're here alone. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I just hope it never comes to that. But it has occurred to me, like, every now. I don't usually worry about it as, in my day-to-day, but it does occur to me every now and then.
Would have happened already.
You'd think. But, later on when we go to bed tonight, I'll be, like, laying awake thinking about it.
This place is a fortress. This place is a fortress.
I'll like hear something downstairs and be like, "What was that?" Yeah. Although the funny thing about having cats in the house is that anytime you hear a weird noise, you just assume the cat's doing something because it's almost always the cat knocking shit off of. Especially if they don't have enough treats out. Pookie will jump up on the thing and just start knocking shit off at 3:00 in the morning. Tetsuo said going to the club tomorrow. Yes, we are. It's actually Memento Mori tomorrow. They used to do it on Friday nights, but they decided to move it to every third Saturday. So, because like I said, it just seemed like a better thing to do because a lot of the same people go to both things anyway. There's a lot of crossover between the goth night and the 80s night. So I guess they figured it was just better to do that. And Friday night, they want to bring back their very popular mac and cheese night, which was that I think when it was downtown, it used to be Wednesdays. I feel like mac and cheese was, and that was easily their most crowded night. And it was just cheesy songs from the 70s, 80s, 90s, just the cheesiest shit you could think of.
People wearing the worst clothes you could think of.
Yeah, it was just kind of a funny, ironic. Yeah. I think we went there one time, on that night.
Tube socks and shit.
Yeah, we went there on one night, after. I think we had just gone to see Skinny Puppy, a couple doors down, and it was still kind of early. So I'm like, well, I guess we could go to Barbarella. I think it's mac and cheese, but it was fucking packed. Holy crap! Saturday night used to be pretty crowded, but not that fucking crowded. So they decided they were going to bring that back, and so now they're going to do that every Friday. So Memento got moved to every third Saturday. So they're doing it tomorrow night, and it's in memorial of someone else in the scene that died. A girl we knew named Shelly. I didn't actually know her that well. She was just an acquaintance.
Yeah, she was just around.
But, yeah, she died last week or a couple weeks back.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing a memorial thing for her, playing all her favorite songs.
Something to do with her blood pressure.
Yeah, that's what our friend Cherie said. She knew her a lot better than we did, and she said, yeah, she had problems with high. She was younger than us, actually. I think she was only in her 40s. But she had a lot of problems with high blood pressure and stuff, and I guess that's what killed her. No, she was not an escort. We know a couple of escorts, but she was not one of them.
Yeah, she wasn't one of them.
That one escort that tried to suck your dick was named Ashley.
Yeah.
And we didn't know her. We only we saw her one time. She turned
and that
out.
one was trans.
Yeah, she was. She's trans. Yeah. Well, presumably she still is.
Yeah. And the other one is the girl you would never suspect.
Yeah.
You would never suspect her.
Because she looks like super vanilla.
Yeah, super vanilla, good girl type. She looks like kind of not really a hippie. What does she look like? She looks kind of like
I don't know, just regular.
Yeah, she looks like somebody who listens to folk music or something. Kind of preppy-ish. Not really preppy. What's a good way to describe her?
Yeah, she's not preppy exactly.
Kind of like a chick that would be into herbal tea or something.
Yeah.
Or fucking watch a lot of Friends. It's big into Friends and
or
shit.
Something.
You'd never suspect her of being a prostitute.
Yeah.
And the shit she was doing, man, she was doing fucking Craigslist stuff and fucking running ads to meet her at a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was worded all very carefully.
She started at a massage place.
She ended up at the massage place kind of by accident. She didn't know that there was happy endings involved.
Yeah, because not all massage places. See, I'd be paranoid to go to any massage place. Just because you never know. I guess you'd have to figure out which one.
She didn't dive in instantly. It started slowly. Other girls taught her how to do it.
Like the proverbial frog in boiling water.
She needed money.
Yeah.
So, and she said it was easy at the massage place. And she said she liked it. She thought it was a fun job.
I would think it was super gross, but okay.
She said she was scared at first, remember? I asked her about it. I did a whole fucking interview with her. She said she was scared of...
not formal, but
she wanted to fucking lay it all out. She wanted to tell somebody.
Yeah, because nobody really knew.
Nobody really knew. So, she was desperate for money. She hadn't worked and she had all kind of bills due. She didn't want to get fucking evicted and shit. And the only place she could get a job was at this fucking massage parlor. And then when they were telling her what the job entailed once she took the job, They said, and then and you're over. And he said, what do you mean? He goes, well, you know. And she's like, oh, I don't know.
She's
about
like,
that.
wait a minute.
Yeah,
do a shake
like,
weight?
She's like, I don't know about that.
They're like,
well,
no.
She goes, well, that's where the money is. That's where the money is. Like, And I don't think she started off doing that, but the dudes started fucking throwing money at her.
Right.
And she's like, well, he looks all right.
Yeah.
So then, you know what I mean? So then she'd do it.
I can't imagine being in that situation.
And then she realized that she didn't have to share any of that money if she were to.
Yeah.
Because the other girls were working, they were running Craigslist ads.
Right.
This is back in the Craigslist period, so some years ago. And they taught her how to do it. She hired a big old fucking black bouncer to fucking be security, and he'd just be hanging out in the hallway.
Probably wise.
Watching who was going in and out of there.
Yeah.
She had a way to signal him, but I don't know what it was. Might have been a fucking walkie-talkie or a beep or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she kind of wanted it to look like that was her pimp/boyfriend. But
Right.
it wasn't. He was the driver /
Yeah, she just hired him.
security guy. And he was actually a bouncer. But she would break him off like $400 or $500 for the night.
Not bad.
So that's a good night for these dudes. Wow, $400 or $500. So anyway, she'd pull fucking $1,500 out of that fucking thing a night doing that. And she evidently only did it like a couple times. But then whenever she get in a pinch, she'd do it again.
Yeah.
She said that she was scared as hell fucking placing that ad. She said she'd be shaking.
Yeah,
She
I
thought
can
that shit was
imagine.
so weird. She'd be sitting there waiting for dudes to just show up.
That would be really weird. I guess
Yeah.
you'd get used to it after a
she got
while,
used to
but
it. She's just, yeah. And then
I'd be weirded out.
eventually what she ended up doing is she passed herself off as like a spa worker and rented a stall in a spa downtown. Well, they do like facials and fucking shit like that.
Not those kind of facials.
Not that kind of facial.
The regular kind of facials. The non-porny kind.
Yeah. Well, she was running ads at Craigslist, all right, that had a number that led to her, and she would tell them to meet them at the spa.
Right.
So she was doing that shit at the spa.
And this spa was not a place
Spa didn't know.
that sanctioned that kind of activity.
That was her. She was working undercover, and there was like a door or a curtain or something that they could close. And she said that one of the clients talked her into going full service. So that was like her first time. And then she started offering that to certain guys. So she was kind of picky about who she would actually fuck.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are these dudes? She goes, oh, you never believe it, man. She's just like, one dude was a rabbi. The other dude was like fucking just some fucking businessman, or just like somebody's dad, just shit like that. They had money.
Yeah, I mean, it's
they
not
had
going to be
money.
like a bunch of bombs or anything.
No, they weren't bombs. She said they all had money. And she said they were all very normal. Very
Yeah.
normal guys. Married, almost all of them. Married or couldn't marry.
We always used to make jokes about there's a massage parlor like across the street, kind of catty-cornered from Ichiban, the Chinese buffet we would go to all the time. And we always thought it was like super sus because it's always open, but there's never any cars in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And so, like, we always make these kind of jokes about it being a rub and tug. Like, hey, we're going to stop at the rub and tug and stuff like that. But I'm like, I don't know. It's just really weird. So I, out of curiosity, like, I looked it up. I was like, is it one of those kind of places? Is that why there's never anybody parked there?
Yeah.
It's like they can't be
we
open.
asked around. It's not, though.
It's not, I don't
Yeah.
think. Like, because
It's
I
by
looked like,
appointment.
I was like looking at like all the Yelp reviews and stuff, and none of them sounded sketchy or like they
Yeah.
were using weird language or anything like that. So I was just kind of like, I guess it's normal, but it's just like weird because we never see any cars parked there.
If they're ever labeled like Asian massage, no, that's a fucking rub and tug.
Yeah.
And that's the one where the friend I was telling you about, she was working at one of the Asian ones. And like more than half of the girls were Chinese there. But they had white girls working there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like not the type. The normal type is kind of like you could tell maybe she's done some drugs and maybe she might have done some times behind bars for prostitution. They're usually you can kind of spot them. They were very working class. No, this chick came across as very upper middle class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, like you said, she just kind of fell into it. And
She just kinda fell
And then
into
the
it,
money was good.
Yeah.
So she just kind of stuck.
Yeah, and pretty.
Because she found she didn't mind it too much.
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty. Not
Just kind of funny.
Not scuzzy at all. Very pretty.
I was shocked when I found out.
Yeah, I was like, I told Jen, this.
I was like, what?
And she was just like laying it all out. She just
Because look,
wanted,
not to be mean, but like some friends that we have, if they said they were doing that, I wouldn't be shocked
Yeah,
at
you're
all.
not shocked. You're not, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about
Yeah.
right. But
A lot of people in an entertainment industry kind of do stuff on the side that's fishy.
yeah, so it's just kind of like, so we know a lot of people who do that kind of thing, not necessarily that, but
they might call it being a dominatrix or being a fucking relationship fucking coach or something. They might call it something sideways like that, but it might entail actually fucking this client.
yeah,
But they probably know the. Okay, here's another. The gigolos are the real high end gigolos are never gigolos. They're always personal trainers, ski instructors, riding instructors. They're shit like that. That's what
tennis coaches.
Yeah, tennis coach. They are what they claim to be, but that's kind of an in or a cover to become friends with wealthy women who
and then they're like,
need a shoulder to cry on.
Once they're in, they're like, hey, can I interest you in these other services?
Yeah. Would you like to take me to the ski resort this year? You know what I mean? Fucking, we will stay a month there.
Wink,
You
wink.
know, fucking, and you're gonna pay everything, you know, and you're gonna compensate me for my time. And usually, see, this is the thing. If you ever listen to like fucking some of the interviews with high end male escorts, or I don't know if they call themselves escorts. I think they call them companions.
Just like that.
Yeah, companions. They're gonna tell you that a man can't feign attraction. If you do that, you're fucking setting yourself up for fucking disaster. Right. And you're gonna lose that client, you're gonna look like a fucking fool. So what that means is that you can only go after clients that you're attracted to. And what that means is that what you're offering is actually real. You actually do like her. So you actually have deeper hooks into that woman. Now here's the thing. She's not the only one. There might be 3 or 4 other ones.
Yeah.
And they start playing games. Most of these women that they're dealing with are married. So they can't complain. Sometimes the customers know about the other customers and they fucking start competing for him at certain times. And they start trying to outbid. Like, no, I want him for the summer on this and that. And they kind of have like a friendly rivalry. All kinds of weird shit happens in that business. And they're always rich. They're always married. Yeah. That's that game.
And the husband is probably away all the time banging the secretary or whatever. So.
The one guy that I was listening to, his client was a Chinese woman. She was a billionaire. She was put into a political marriage with another guy, with a guy, another Chinese person who was a guy, who there was absolutely no chemistry. That guy had a bunch of mistresses. They got married just for political purposes, just to get their families off their backs. They were both kind of famous in China too. Her rules is that she couldn't be fucking around with anybody in China, and if whatever she was going to do, she had to do overseas. She was richer than he was. That was another thing that was weird. Her family was richer than him, but his family had a high status. So she was and she couldn't stand her own family because they just wanted money from her. She only had one niece that she trusted. So her main confidant was this Australian gigolo. And he was with her for like 4 or 5 years. And he was her ski instructor. They went to ski lodges. He put on a big show. have the candles set up and the fucking scented oil and shit and the fucking music and fucking
Didn't miss a trick, did he?
Fucking dude, go through the whole massage thing, well, fucking the shit out of her and all kind of stuff, and the champagne, and go to the squat on. So, and the thing is that he liked her.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fake. It's just that this was kind of like his job. And there were other women that were competing for his time. Now, to a regular person, that sounds insane. But rich people don't live in the same world as middle class and upper class people.
Yeah, no shit.
You have to look at it this way. If you're a really rich dude, time is literally money. Okay? Fucking your industries are making hundreds of thousands of dollars an hour. Or, tens of thousands of dollars an hour. You don't have time to go fucking dating these women and possibly getting shot down and shit. Fucking if you spend 3 or 4 days chasing some woman that's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that being pulled away from your shit, and then the bitch shoots you down because you got a jelly roll. Or she didn't really like your hair, something like that. So those dudes are like, well, shit, all I got to do is call her for 1,500s and I have her all day. 1,500's nothing to that guy.
And she has to pretend to like me the whole time.
Well, a lot of times they try to they do it kind of like dating.
Yeah, it's like the same ones over and over.
Yeah, they'll fucking try a bunch of them out like a fucking butterfly collector.
Yeah.
And then one of them he sticks with and likes, he tries to give her kind of like an exclusive contract.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those girls are looking for that, where they only have one client.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then she might have a boyfriend or a husband, though.
Yeah.
But the dude doesn't care.
Well, I guess not.
He's married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading something kind of along these same lines earlier about, like, people that hire escorts and stuff like that. And it does seem like it's kind of the same as with any other service that you're going to be paying for, whether it's somebody fixing your car or whatever the fuck. Like, if you find one that you like, that's good, you're going to keep returning to that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was listening to one of the female escorts, her story and her little interview, talking about going out on yachts with these guys. Same guy. She knew him pretty well. He'd call her a couple times a year. They go out on yachts and fucking go to other countries and shit. And she said that he was super rich, but that bitch was miserable. He didn't have any real friends. Everybody he had contact with was some kind of employee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they don't know regular people.
Yeah.
They're surrounded by employees.
I mean, I can't feel too bad for them because they have, like, fuck tons of money. More money than I'll ever see in my entire life, so I don't feel bad. But, yeah, I mean, they can't really live a normal life.
No.
Like I said, in a lot of ways, though, they can do whatever the fuck they want to, so I don't feel bad for them.
The girl fucking said, that girl said some funny shit, though. And I was like, yeah, that would fucking suck. She was, in her mid-20s, mid to late 20s. The dude is in his 60s, running. And she said... said the toughest thing was to kind of like find something in common.
Yeah.
Because she had nothing in common with the dude. And she didn't find him interesting. Because there was really nothing interesting about him.
Yeah.
And she said, she would just wait for his ass to go to sleep because he went to sleep at 9.
Yeah.
And she'd go to her cabin.
Like old people.
Yeah. She'd go to her cabin and fucking watch Netflix. And then watch Netflix and fucking text her boyfriend.
Yeah. Like the old fart fell asleep again.
Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah.
At least I don't have to look at his wrinkled old ball sack anymore.
But she's on this little fucking James Bond mission. She's gonna be on this James Bond mission for like a couple weeks, and come back with fucking $20,000. And she's a fucking trailer park girl. That's where she came from. That's a lot of money for her.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend fucking lives off of it with her. He's probably got a band or something.
She's like supporting.
Yeah, he's got a band. Another one of the real high end ones said that she lived the weirdest life. She's gorgeous, by the way. The ones that's telling this story. She did porn, but then she didn't like doing porn. She got out of that. She said it wasn't worth the money. But she looked like a model, big boobs, big fake boobs. Her thing is that she lived two lives. She would be in these fucking really high-end restaurants, dudes would take her golfing on, and she said that she was so boring, but she had to learn how to golf. Take her to the golf course.
Golf is super boring.
And fucking then there, she got to pretend to be, she's the girlfriend during the morning, and fucking at the golf clay, they're eating before the golf fucking tournament, and then she'd be in these high-end restaurants and high-end hotels with this guy, and go to apartments and shit that he owned, and he'd take her to other countries and shit. And then when she wasn't working, she'd go back to her boyfriend fucking, and they'd go hang out in punk rock bars or a bunch of fights and shit, you know what I mean? She was like...
That sounds like more my shit.
Yeah, she was totally into like punk rock and goth type stuff. She wasn't into... But she looked like real high society when she was with these guys. She had real expensive clothes. That was all like a... She said she just felt stupid as shit.
I can imagine.
Wearing that shit, like $1,000 Chanel belt buckle and shit. With fucking diamonds in it and crap.
Yeah, I would feel like a real dork wearing your own
Yeah.
kind of crap.
But dudes were giving her that, so that was like part of her uniform.
Right. I guess
so she could fit in.
Like I said, that's how you'd have to think of it.
Yeah.
Like you're putting on a uniform
like
and
a uniform.
You're playing a character.
It's a work uniform. Okay, if you guys ever see those videos, little fucking Instagram videos, they're in some European city and you see this fucking Ferrari and this just badass chick comes out of there, That's an escort.
Yeah.
That's an escort. Rich girls don't look that good. She's working for the man.
And she's probably just like, I don't even like this dude. I'm just here for the money, man.
Yeah, she's probably this fucker.
Because, the fact that you'd have to, hire somebody.
Well, like I said, they don't have time.
I guess.
They don't have time because time is money. They're very rich. They can't date. Dating costs them a lot of money, and they're running into a lot of bums, and they're getting rejected. Or they run into women that will hound them and try to sue them, or try to marry them, so they can't fuck them and leave them. That's another thing. They can't because the women try to fucking clutch onto them. So they'll just pick one out of a book. It's instant, and you can have her on demand. And if you didn't like her, you can get rid of her. You'll never hear from her again. And so that's why. And the thing is it's maybe $1,500, but that would be like $5 for me.
Yeah. Nobody wants a $5 hooker, though.
But it would be like $5.
I know.
It'd be like free. That's free.
Yeah.
So you might as well just call some slut. I'll call some slut and I'll fuck that.
That's nice.
It doesn't matter that, I gave her $1,500. To him, that's nothing.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, to her, that's probably a lot of money, but to me, that's a lot of money. But
yeah. And here's another thing. Dude's probably married.
Yeah.
So they
usually are.
So he can't be fucking around with a civilian because she'll fucking ruin it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She'll come after him. Cause too much trouble. The hooker's job is to just leave when he's done. When you're done with her, get out of here. You're paying for her silence.
Yeah.
Don't tell my wife.
Yeah, like I said, she's a professional.
Right.
Her whole job is just to fuck you and not contact you again.
Right, exactly. Until you contact her.
Until you contact her.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole thing.
That's the deal. So, that particular class of people, and they got dudes that just do this shit. I've heard them called sporting gentlemen. Sporting gentlemen. They're dudes that just run hookers. They're married, usually rich. Well, I imagine they probably got poor guys that do that too. Save up their money.
Yeah.
Getting the cheaper ones, little $300 ones and stuff.
Yeah, the thing I was reading, there was some comments after it, and there were some guys in there that actually had some kind of thoughtful kind of stuff that were like, I don't really feel like dating, and I don't really feel like, so, every once a month or something like that, I'll just call up an escort. And they usually go to the same one because they know her, and, they have kind of a rapport going and stuff like that, but they're like, it's a lot less trouble.
Yeah, it would be.
Which I could see that.
Yeah. Well, when I was in Korea in the Army, you know what I mean? Fucking, we had tea house girls.
Yeah.
You couldn't date.
Yeah.
So they just offered that. Which I had no problem with it. But like I said, that was like something from another culture. It was like, it was another culture. It was not quite the same thing that you have here. I don't know. But, I don't know. What's the comment section saying? We're probably going on too long about this subject. I don't know if they're even interested in this shit.
Well, no, they're talking about the same stuff.
about...
Okay, CB said a lot of people at the fetish bar have open relationships because one of them is gay, and the one rule is don't shit on your own doorstep.
Yeah.
CB says, my girlfriend is okay with me making out with another woman's belly button, because, he has that fetish, as long as I don't do it with one of her friends or a family member. That's another thing that... I mean, we've broken this rule. But usually, when you talk about threesomes or, like, open up your relationship or something, usually they're like, don't do it with a friend because that's going to, like, blow up the whole fucking... Because you might lose the friendship and the relationship and everything like that.
We would disagree.
It's better... Yeah, but I'm just saying in general that people that do that on the reg, they're usually, like, get an outsider or hire a professional or something like that. Like, find somebody online, somebody you both don't know.
Yeah, that's
because shit could blow up in your face later on, which I can kind of see that.
Especially when you're talking about normies. Normies, yeah, that shit could be very fucking... Regular civilians, that could be a problem. Me and Jen are in the goth scene. It's very different. Friends in the goth scene are way tolerant of each other. And they've known each other for a long time. I don't think there's many emotions and shit involved in something like that. They just go, yeah, okay, yeah, let's get down.
I mean, especially, like, among the older...
The older ones, yeah.
Ones. Yeah. I kind of feel like it's not really
They wouldn't even take it seriously.
Because they're like, whatever, shit happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like most of the time people would catch feelings or anything.
Yeah, and they're not trying to create relationships or steal people or anything like that. They're not into that.
Yeah, like I said, generally not. Because most of the people that we know have been around for a long time, have known each other for a long time.
We've all dated each other.
And if you do something fucked up, then everybody finds out about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people don't want to be, like, shunned or...
Yeah, and a lot of us...
You still got to be able to go out and, like, have people hang out with you know what I mean?
A lot of us have dated each other, too.
Yeah.
Like, one of the girls that were trying to get in the sandwich was with my ex.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so...
We talk about that. My ex loves her. They love each other. They're awesome. They're friends, but fucking, the thing is that not going to happen because of her husband.
Yeah.
Because her husband will try to jump in a sandwich.
It'd be different if she was
Because that couple right there, they're swinging.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. They're open for anything.
They go to the swingers club.
They do the fucking...
He goes out and
they take pictures
without her.
Or
they go to the swingers, or they go to the swingers club and get some other people, and
they're making porn out in the fucking parking lot with cars.
They do all of that.
Yeah,
which I guess whatever. They're all right with it.
That's their thing.
They've been together a long time, longer than we have actually, because Tom actually introduced them.
Yep, they've been around for
a while back.
That's their thing. Only thing I think is weird about it is that he goes to places with these girls without her.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Well, she doesn't seem to care.
She doesn't seem to care. Maybe she's like, no, you guys having fun. Maybe it's just that.
Yeah. Some people are like that.
Yeah.
Some people are like that.
I got other shit I got to do.
Yeah, it's like, nah, I don't really feel like it.
Yeah, maybe it's just that.
See, I don't think, I wouldn't
Maybe there's just no jealousy. Because she knows she slept with the girls too, so.
Yeah, I know that.
So,
So I guess it's a different kind of situation. Yeah, but still, I always kind of feel like if you're not there, you're always like, man, what the fuck's going on without me?
What are they doing?
Yeah, what are they doing? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Talking about me?
Yeah, like it's like even if you weren't like really, really all that mad about it, you'd still be like wondering like what was happening without you. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't really be super comfortable with that situation. But like I said, I guess it works for them. And some people, like I said, I've met some people that absolutely do not care.
Yeah. It's just different. If me and Jen had a girlfriend, there wouldn't be any solo time. We'd all be hanging out together.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole... Because we've talked about that before, and I'm just like, I don't like shit going on behind people's backs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I don't like.
Well, I don't like the idea of leaving anybody out.
Yeah, I don't really like that idea either.
No.
No. That's what I mean. That's a weird...
Why are you going to leave somebody out?
Yeah.
Let's go get some dinner. Let's go see the movie. Fucking whatever. And if everybody's having fun, then everybody's having fun.
Yeah.
You go back home for a while. Fucking come back next week.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. It's just that.
But we haven't had one that was that regular. Mostly just going to the club with it.
Yeah. And then just kind of like shit would happen periodically.
And shit would happen,
Yeah.
Wasn't that formal.
Yeah, we didn't really plan it.
No.
It just
and she was dating.
It just kind of happened.
Yeah, and the girl we're talking about, she was dating.
Yeah.
It's not like you have any hold on them. You don't want to hold on them.
Yeah.
You're trying to hook them up with the boy. With
yeah,
the guy
she
too,
wouldn't have hung around.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just, like I said, we were all just out having a good time drinking.
I think that's another problem.
One thing led to another.
Yeah, I think that's another part of the problem is couples will hook up with somebody and then they try to keep that person like they're in the relationship or like they're a possession or something. That ain't gonna happen. Everybody gonna want to find their person. You know what I mean? Fucking. I'd spend most of my time fucking prizing. We need to get you hooked up. Try to get her a man. You know, something like that. You know.
Because Tom is like, I don't know if people know this,
women. Yeah.
but he's like a real matchmaker.
Yeah.
He's a matchmaker. Like, as soon as, because for whatever reason, well, I mean, I guess I know why, because you actually, like, listen and give suggestions and stuff.
I figure out who will work out.
But a lot of our female friends will sometimes, like, talk to him about their problems, about their man problems and their dating problems. Like, what the fuck, what am I doing wrong? Or, you know what I mean? So Tom will kind of try to coach him, and then he'll try to, like, hook him up with people. It's like, oh, I know this dude that's kind of single that you probably like, and so he tries to, like, match people up like that. It's pretty funny. But he's actually, like, really good at it. He's good at knowing, like, what people would get along with one another.
Yeah, I hooked my ex up with a friend of mine, and they're married. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and they've been married. Like I said, they've been together longer than we have.
Yeah.
So, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
I can tell.
American Military says, are you guys ever guests at CrimeCon or other conventions? We went to Spooky Empire.
We got invited a couple times.
A couple of years in a row.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I was thinking about doing CrimeCon one year, but I was going to pay for a table, but it was too expensive and I couldn't justify. Because they had CrimeCon here in Orlando a couple of years back, and I was going to do it, but...
Every time we went to a convention, I sold every book Jen had in stock. I'll sell every one of them. And then the other authors that were there, that were with us, they wouldn't sell a single fucking book because I'm very aggressive. I'll just start talking to people. And I said, have you ever heard of Jenny Ashford? She said, oh, she's a fucking really cool, author. Here she is right here. And then they start talking. Yeah. And here, why don't you guys take a picture together? Next thing you know, I'm selling a book.
Yeah.
You know.
I sold almost all the books on the first day. And then we only had like a few left, and we sold those on Saturday because we were there all 3 days.
I'm confident I could sell all her books, but I don't know how much they want for the fucking table. And we have to lay out all the money to buy the fucking merchandise from our printer.
Yeah, I would have to get all the stuff.
So it would probably cost us a couple grand just to fucking go.
Easily.
And I'd have to sell every one of those books probably to cover the costs and make profit.
Yeah, we would have to figure out like how
many
we'd
books
have,
would I have to sell
to make the costs back and like make a profit, and it probably would not be worth it.
How many books a day would I have to sell? Because I could sell them. And they don't even know I'm selling. I'm just talking. And then I'm asking questions. Yeah. And I'm introducing. Next thing you know, they're sitting down with Jen. Yeah. And next thing you know, because they don't realize the sale's happening because Jen's using. We're just talking to them. Yeah. It's just going to happen.
Because after they've talked to you for a minute and kind of feel friendly and stuff like that, they kind of feel bad walking off and not buying.
Yeah, and it's not like you're selling a fucking house. $775,000. It's a fucking $15 book.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's not like a huge commitment or anything like that. If you don't like it, you can just throw it away or give it to the library or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Victor's saying, my old friend with benefits had a wife. Does that count? And then CB said, no, if you're going and your girlfriend wife doesn't know you are cheating. Yeah. Yeah, that's what like I said, I would consider anything that you wouldn't want your significant other to find out about that you're doing behind their back. Is cheating.
Yeah, it's kind of cheating.
Like anything like that. That like you'd be upset if they found out about it. I kind of feel like no matter what it is. And I guess everybody's got different shit about what they would be bothered by and shit like that. People doing behind their back, but like I said, I don't do anything weird behind your back. To be honest with you, I can't think of anything weird I do behind your back. You know about all the weird shit I do. Yeah, same with me. You know. So I'm not doing anything sketchy.
Let me just shit. I'm gonna have to open the.
Here. Shit! Yeah, soda time.
I got a little bit.
Is there a little bit of tea left? We're using the tea up. Yeah. Papa 77 just got here. I was in a work meeting. How'd that go? I hate meetings, but CB said, my girlfriend made the mistake of setting her friend up with someone she knew, and he was an idiot the whole night, and her friend said never again. Yeah, see, I don't really have the wherewithal. I really wouldn't set somebody up with somebody. Like I said, Tom's good at it, but I don't think I'd be good at it. To be honest, I know this is going to sound weird because I do book and movie reviews, but I'm even kind of reluctant about, like, recommending, like, books and movies to people. I'm like, what if they don't like it? Then they're gonna get mad at me. You know what I mean? There was enough for one glass. And that's like something that doesn't even have any fucking. It doesn't even have any emotional like fucking resonance to it. You know what I mean? Papa 70 says boring as hell. It was a class. Yeah. Meetings. I don't understand the point of them. To be honest, it's like. I don't think I've ever been to a meeting that couldn't have just been like an email or a text. You know, it's just tell me what you need to tell me in a couple sentences, and it's all good. I don't need to look at your face or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But yeah. Let me see. But yeah, I was actually really curious. I was really excited. I think it was probably like, it was maybe more than a couple years ago, because I think it was when we were at the old house. So it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But CrimeCon was here in Orlando, because I think they do it in a different city every year. But I think it was in Orlando a couple years back, so I did look into going to that. But I think when I did the math, I'm like, man, I just don't think it would be worth it. Like having to pay for the table, having to pay for the 3-day pass, having to pay for all the product, like all the books that I would have to sell, because I would have to buy a bunch of them to sell them to recoup the money. And, you know, having to pay for hotel and food and parking and all that other kind of stuff. Like I said, it probably cost a couple grand at least. And I was just like, I just couldn't justify it. They're too expensive. When we went to Spooky Empire, we were invited because we were on they asked us to be on a bunch of panels. So they paid, so we got in for free. And we lived nearby, so we didn't have to pay for a hotel, because we could just, you know, we were just like half an hour away, so we could just drive there every day in the morning. And they had a shared table for all the authors that you didn't have to pay for. So everybody all the authors had set up like this big one long table. So you didn't have to pay for that either. So really the only thing we had to pay for was like parking and food and shit like that. And
I kind of felt bad because those other authors would show up with like maybe 1 or 2 copies of their books. They wouldn't sell a single fucking one. Me and Jen would come up with like 3 fucking boxes of them.
Yeah,
I'd sell them all.
I had like 3 boxes of them.
They didn't know how to sell.
Well, I mean,
they're writers. They don't know how to sell.
I mean, like I said, it's rare that someone that's a writer is also good at sales and marketing. It's usually a personality type that doesn't go together.
You gotta be very extroverted.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like a douche, like selling my own stuff.
It's
like,
harder to sell.
I don't really like blowing my own horn.
Yeah.
I'm like really, it makes me really uncomfortable.
It is.
So,
because it's hard to sell yourself.
Yeah,
it's much easier to sell somebody else.
Like I said, I feel like a real tool, like standing up there going, "I'm so awesome." You know what I mean? That's like, I don't know. I just feel like a dork doing that. So
you don't talk about yourself. You talk about the book. That's how you do it. You have to switch it around.
It's just much easier having
this is a great book. You're gonna love
else do that.
This is a great book. You're gonna love it. I worked real hard on it.
Yeah.
That's the opening. It's about this and this and this, and then I went to this. You're gonna like it.
Yeah. Hopefully my new one, because I'm doing, remember like I said, I'm working on a new faceless villain that's all unsolved murders from the year 2000. And I just finished September today. So I still have to do like a few more cases in October, November, December. They're mostly done, but I'm just filling in some cases that I'll probably just put the print and ebook out and then do the audiobook later, because the audiobook will take a long time to do.
What's up, Victor? What you doing, man? Papa 77's here.
Yeah. And I also I recorded another video for my Scare Salon channel today, because I know I don't post as much on there as I intend to, but, you know, between one thing and the other, I don't usually have a lot of time. But I did another episode of Night Gallery, so I'm going to put that up on Sunday, probably. because I've been doing over there. I've been going through Night Gallery episode by episode, and also Thriller, the Boris Karloff show, episode by episode. I still got a long way to go, but Night Gallery, I think I'm on season 2, episode 14 is the one that I'm putting up on Sunday. I think there was only 3 seasons of that, and I think the third one might have been kind of short. I have them all. I have the box set. Thriller, I've just been watching like on YouTube, but there's a bunch of those. I used to do them 6 episodes at a time. I don't know why the fuck I started doing that, but now I'm just doing 1 episode at a time because it was just too much. Like doing 6 episodes at a time. It's like 6 hours worth of fucking content that I had to watch and, you know, and fucking talk about. So, yeah, American Military said, I'm surprised there's a lot of unsolved cases from the 2000s due to advancements in DNA. Yeah, you'd think that, but there's really a lot. Although I was thinking today, I was like, shit, before I publish this, I need to go back through and like go and check every single name that I wrote about to make sure that it hasn't been solved in the interim, like since I wrote about it. Because because I'd started working on this book like a few years ago, and then, you know, I'd got like the first couple chapters done and I just never finished it. So I decided to get back into it, and in the interim, a couple of the cases that I had written about had been solved. So I had to take them out. But so far, I don't know, like I haven't really come across any that have been solved. And it was like a surprising amount. So,
well, sometimes when you see how crimes are committed and what's left behind, it's easy to know why they're not solved. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, you find a guy, he's crashed into a fucking pole on the side of the road. The cops go in there and they realize that he wasn't killed in the impact. He's got a bullet hole in his head. Then they look and they realize that somebody shot him through the fucking window of the car from another car. They can't figure out who did it because there's no shell casing, no witnesses. It was done at night from one car to another. And they're not sure exactly where it happened because the dude might have fucking rolled down the road another fucking 400 yards before the car hit the pole. You know, him just dead in that damn car. And, you know, then they can't find the bullet because it went out the other side of the head. So they're not even sure what fucking round it was. There's no DNA. So if there were no witnesses at the time and you couldn't pick up anything on camera, then yeah, you couldn't solve it. Usually how something like that's solved is you got a guy in prison.
yeah.
On some kind of charge. And he says, look, I got a murder from 5 years ago. I'll tell you guys who did it if you let me out. And then he fingers who did it. He says, yeah, I know who did it. The dude fucking did it with blah, 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 blah. He told me that he did it. And they said, okay, are you testify to that? And he goes, well, if you let me out, I'll testify.
Well, I mean, they have to find other... But
Yeah,
then at least they have an
people.
avenue to, like, go down.
Usually what
Like,
they
at least
do
have
is
a
they
name.
arrest that dude, and he's kind of low IQ, and they start fucking cross-examining him and fucking questioning him over and over again. He breaks down under fucking... and tells on himself. That's usually what happens.
But yeah, you would be really surprised how many... And honestly, I'm leaving some out because I didn't have any hard and fast rules. You know, with my other books, because they were so much more comprehensive, because I was covering like 20 years at a time, I was just kind of like, well, I'm just going to put ones in there that are like really weird, or, you know, that weren't like gang related or robbery stuff or anything like that, or political assassinations. Because it's like, even if you don't know who did that, you know the motive behind it, like, you know the reason, so it's not like mysterious. But this one, I was just kind of like, well, I kind of want to include as many as possible, like, unless it was very obviously. The only thing that's making me leave people out is if there's like so little information about it that it's like not even worth putting it in there. You know what I mean? Because there's some, like, I've been going on all these different like city and county like cold case websites where they have all the cases listed. And so I'll go in there, and some of them are pretty comprehensive, but then some of them like don't even have a picture of the person, or it'll just say, you know, they were found murdered at whatever the address was on whatever date, and that's it. Like, that's all. It doesn't say the cause of death. It doesn't say how they died or anything. There's like no details, which is kind of sad, really. And I'm like, well, there's really no point in putting that in the book. It's like, I don't know how the person died. I don't know what they look like. I don't know any of the circumstances. So it really doesn't seem like, it seems kind of pointless to put it in there, sadly. So that's kind of the rule that I've been going by. So I have been adding ones that, you know, people that were killed in the course of a robbery or things like that. If it was particularly terrible, like, I'll put that in there too. But I don't know. It surprised me, like, how many, because I had written a whole shit ton of cases, and then I said, oh, I'm going to go back and see if I can find any other ones. And I was like, oh, I found like a bajillion other ones. You know what I mean? And I was like, shit, I got a lot of work to do. But I'm slowly getting through it. You know what I mean? Dominic Davis says, I love you guys. We love you too.
Thank you, Dominic.
And Oracle's here saying, hey, y'all. Hey, Oracle, what's up? American Military, which author or authors would you most like to meet or interview? I always have a thing where it's like, I'm not really sure I ever want to like meet my heroes kind of thing. But I would actually like to hang out with Clive Barker. See what he had to say. Because he's the one that got me. I mean, I had been reading Stephen King like since I was a kid. But it was Clive Barker that made me want to write horror. You know what I mean?
All your horror is on audiobook, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is Unseen Hand, right?
Yeah.
You need to give me the codes for those.
I think all my shit is on audio.
I want to listen to Unseen Hand again. I remember you recording it.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of the cases, but I want to hear it.
Yeah.
And
I probably have probably have the files around here somewhere.
A lot of her fiction I haven't read.
Yeah.
I really only read a couple stories, the one or two. They were fucking great though. One about zombie, little short stories.
That's one of my favorite stories that I read, actually.
I was mostly just involved with the true crime and the paranormal.
Yeah.
I knew it was in there because I was helping collect all the source material.
Yeah.
And all the interviews. Fucking with Steve Mara. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Victor says he has Unseen Hand on Audible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said.
Is it good? Is it good on Audible?
I mean, it sounded good to me, but like I said, I don't know what it sounds like.
You have the codes, right? Sample codes?
Yeah.
So I can listen to it for free.
But like I said, yeah, I have sample codes, or I could just, like I said, I probably still have the file somewhere.
The file? But what thing is it's you can't really stream the file. So it'd be too big. I'd rather just stream it as I was drifting off to sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
I can go through it that way.
Yeah.
Because usually it takes me about an hour or so to fall asleep anyway.
That's true.
And then wherever I fall asleep, I go back.
Just remind. Well, you know what? I'll write it down because,
okay.
And I'll see because I think I still have some codes. I don't know if they're still valid or not.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll figure it out.
If not, fucking, I'll just buy it.
Yeah. Send codes to Tom. I'll send you all my shit. You can listen to it because, like
I
said, you're always listening to.
Mm-hmm. Always trying to find stuff to listen to. It pisses me off because there's ads in it.
Yeah.
I said, shit, but I listen to Jen's stuff. There's no ads in it.
Because I've written a fuck ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I got all those true crime books. I got 3 of those.
Yeah.
Got all the Poltergeist books.
Yeah.
I got 3 horror novels. I got 2 short story collections.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite ones. My novels are okay too, but I'm always like super critical of my own shit.
Yeah, see, I want to hear the novels too.
Yeah. Zach says, I loved in those books how you jump back and forth between a series of crimes and individual ones. Yeah, I kind of felt like the reason I did that, I'm presuming you're talking about the Faceless Villain books, where I made everything like chronological. So, for example, like if somebody went missing in, May of 1954, and then their body wasn't found until like 6 years later, like you wouldn't find out what happened until 6 years later, like in the book, you know what I mean? Like I made everything a timeline. Now, the new one that I'm working on, because it's only 1 year, I kind of just kept everything contained. How I have it laid out is I have each month, like as a heading, and then I just have the day, Like, it'll be like January, and then it'll say January 2nd, and then it'll have the name of the person, and then there'll be, like, underneath it'll be, like, that case, you know what I mean? So I'm not skipping around as much, just because it made more sense. Because the thing about it is, since I'm only covering 1 year, you know, sometimes if the people went missing in 2000, but their body wasn't found, for example, till 2007, I'm like, obviously not going to make people wait the million years it's going to take me to get to 2007 to find out what happened to the person. You know what I mean? So it's like, it seemed to make more sense to kind of keep it all contained like under one heading. So that's what I've been doing with this one. But it's not going to be obviously as long as the other ones, but it's coming out longer than I expected. So we'll put it that way. Because like I said, I found, when I went back looking and took like deeper dives and stuff, I'm like, wow, I found a lot of cases. A lot. From 2000. So. Somebody asked me. Oh, High Desert said, have you written any Cthulhu Mythos type stories? I have not.
She'd be great at that.
But I have thought about it.
Yeah, she loves Lovecraft. She could do it.
Yeah, I probably should. I kind of feel like I've been wanting to do more fiction. Like, I write a lot of nonfiction as it is now. You know, writing about horror movies for my blog and writing about true crime stuff. But it's like, I always kind of miss writing fiction. I did write a short story not too long ago about, like, for an anthology. I don't know if it's going to be in there. I just submitted it, like, last month or something. That was all about mummies. But there's always... Oh my gosh, it's Pookie.
Yeah, what's up, Pookie Pants? What you
Pookie's
doing?
on the show.
Yeah.
Hi, Pookie. Look, everybody can see you.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't care. I just want chin scritches.
Yeah, just scratch. Pat.
Just like, look at her face.
Yeah. The fattest little cat of all time.
Oh, she's not.
Yeah.
Don't call her fat. She's puffy.
She needs Weight Watchers.
She's puffy.
Don't do it. Don't tear up Mama's shoes.
She's like, don't be mad at me,
She's
Daddy.
trying to tear her shoes. Now she's coming back to apologize.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I'm sorry.
Well, the funny thing is...
She forgets.
It's kind of our fault, though, because we let her scratch on stuff. Yeah. We have, like, a shitty old chair, like, in the living room. And I don't care if she scratches on that, because it's old and beat up anyways. So she's just in there, and, like, I'll walk past the room, and she'll be, Mommy, look! And I'm like, wow, look at you go! You know what I mean? So when she starts scratching on shit we don't want her to scratch on, like our boots or the bottom of the bed or something like that.
Leather, real leather.
Yeah, she'll like look at you like, what?
Yeah, yeah. It's just...
I can scratch on this thing. Why can't I scratch on this thing?
Yeah.
I thought it was just a
This one feels better.
Yeah.
Well, what's the problem?
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, she gets very indignant.
This is some bullshit here. These are arbitrary rules.
Yeah,
this is arbitrary shit.
That's exactly the face that she gives you.
Yeah, exactly.
She's just like, she looks like that.
There's no difference.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in her mind, technically,
yeah.
There's not really. I mean, if you let her scratch on that chair, why can't she scratch on this chair?
Yeah, why can't
like,
she
she's like, they're both
on,
chairs.
And why can't she scratch on shoes and boots?
Right. It's like, it's all the same to her.
It's all the same thing to her.
She doesn't care. Thank you very much, Papa77. You have to say super chat. If you could interview any serial killer from any time period, who would it be and why?
Oh, well, easy. Fucking Jack the Ripper. You'd make so much money if you knew who that was.
Oh my god, yeah. Cha-ching. I was going to say H.H. Holmes, but...
Jack the Ripper. Just for the market purposes.
Yeah. Like, if you get it in a time machine and go back and, like, find out who Jack the Ripper was and then come back.
Yeah. Some of those dudes, I don't want to know what they did.
I probably don't want to know either. Like I said, I write enough about them, and it's like just the details that have like leached out to the public. I'm just like, that's bad enough. I don't know if I really want to know.
Leonard Blake and Charles Ning, those two dastardly fucking scumbags. They did shit to people. They would abduct whole families, kill them, keep the wife as a sex slave for a while, and then kill her. They do all kinds of shit. Like, here's your baby's bones. They do all kinds of,
Yeah, it's like that's like inhuman.
Yeah.
You should people like that.
Yeah. I saw some of the details.
You should shoot him in the head like a rabid dog. I saw some of the
little details of the things that fucking Charles Ning drew and some of the things that he said to inmates. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if he really did give the mama the bones of the dead baby that she kept asking for. They were the kind of dudes that would do that, though.
Yeah.
So.
But they would also like give her some fucking chicken bones or something and tell her it was them.
Yeah, but they had all bones all over that fucking compound though, where they were burning people.
It's fucking messed
So
up.
they probably did do that, but just hearing that shit is like, man, I don't even want to know that. You know, I get mad. You can't stop it. It's happened in the past.
Yeah.
I can't go in a time machine and go back and save anybody. It's just, you know, but just
It's
to
just
hear,
like-
just to hear that somebody had to go through that.
Have their moms abort them before they're even born. That would be best for everybody.
I get mad just hearing that somebody had to go through that. And I understand fucking warfare, burning down whole cities sometimes with women and children. At least there's a war. What they're doing is fucking, there's no need for, it's just selfishness. They're doing it for their own sexual gratification.
Yeah.
You know, they're fucking over totally innocent people, you know. So, you know, no, I can't really vibe with that. And civilization can't deal with those guys properly. Only the fucking animal kingdom can. And fucking those dudes need to be whatever they do, people need to do that to them. Now, you know, nowadays in civilization, we can't do that. We don't want to descend to that level. I'm like, well, okay, well then step aside, let me do it. I'd fuck.
It's like, I'll descend to that level.
Yeah, I got no problem with it. There's certain things about medieval European civilization they had right. The big carnivals where they broke people on the wheel and did fucking... Yeah. For some people, they need that. You should do that to some people. Just that, you know, the medieval Europeans were doing it to kind of random people they thought were witches and weird shit. But nowadays, you can say, no, this is a fucking serial killer. We got him. Let's have fun with him. For the amusement of the crowd. Yeah. Fucking. And to let these other motherfuckers know this is what we do with you when you do this. And you're not going to go out. You're not going to go out in a blaze of glory. You're going to be made fun of in a big carnival as you suffer. You know. Worse than an animal. See, the thing is I put animals above humans. They say, well, you're like an animal. No, animals are awesome. Animals are just doing what they do.
Don't insult animals like that.
Don't insult animals. Humans are shitty.
Yeah.
Humans are capable of fucking vast evil. So are chimpanzees.
But they're not that different from us.
They're not that different than us, yeah.
So.
Chimpanzees are demonic. So it's kind of like part of our nature to have evil in us. You need it. It's what gives you the strength to survive, to fight enemies and shit like that. But you have to control it. You have a good side to control it. Just like in that Star Trek episode where Kirk gets split by the Transformer into a good and evil side. The good side couldn't survive without it. You have to learn how to control the darkness and light. Destruction and creation. You got to be a master of that. Good and evil have to be balanced. If there's imbalance, you won't survive. But some of these dudes are just so fucking degenerate and so evil. I can't let you live. Thank God there's a legal system to get a hold of you first. Because if it was just me, it would be like medieval Europe.
Zach says, Jen, have you ever tried writing some kind of crime fiction story like a murder mystery? I have written a couple stories kind of adjacent to that, but the novel that I've been working on for like 3 years or something like that, that's about almost half done, that I hope I can finish this year, we'll see if I have time, is actually kind of a murder mystery, kind of, but it's also got paranormal elements, and it's based on a real case. But we'll see how that goes. But that's kind of the closest thing. Oracle says, our cat Luna hopped up on the arm of my chair earlier and made a happy little chirp at me. First time she's made that sound at me. Yeah, our kitties both trill. They make little trill kind of sounds. I was going to say the funny thing about Pookie is that that funny face that we were saying she makes, like that indignant face.
Yeah.
She also has, I don't know why she does this, but she could be just doing completely innocuous shit, like drinking out of the water fountain or using the litter box or whatever. But if you walk by her and see her doing it, she seriously looks at you like you just caught her boosting your credit card out of your wallet.
Yeah.
Like she looks at you like all shifty.
Yeah.
Like she got caught. And I'm like,
with the new waterer?
Yeah. Or the litter box, or she's just doing something like normal.
Yeah.
That she's allowed to do.
Yeah.
She always looks like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. I'm like, you're not in trouble. She looks like, I don't know. She always looks super shifty.
It's funny how she thinks that maybe the waterer is cheating.
Yeah, she always seems like every time I see her drinking out of the fountain, she always looks like she's not supposed to.
She can't. No,
I'm like, that's what that's for.
She can't feel that way because I'll be filling it up while she's drinking.
Yeah.
And bringing new water to her. I think it's just she's a drama queen. She likes a little bit. She likes there to be drama. Ooh, I'm drinking.
Oh shit!
Oh, they caught me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
She is kind of like that.
She's a drama queen.
She is kind of like that. That's why if you don't do stuff like exactly like she wants it, like her little ritual, she gets very indignant and like storms out of the room.
She'll run. Fuck you. Yeah. It didn't hold the treat the right way. She had these meat sticks. It's kind of like a fucking. It's kind of like a beef jerky, like a Slim Jim. Yeah, but it's made out of fish.
But it's tuna.
And I have to hold it. If I put it down, she gets mad. Ah! But if I hold it, she'll sit there and chew on it. Yeah. She wants.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, and then she wants to be up on the bed and have dinner with Daddy. So I'm talking to her and petting her, and she's chewing on it. This and that's a whole ritual. But if I'm busy, I'll just give her the stick, and she goes,
You ruined it.
No, shaking her head and everything.
It's ridiculous. It's so funny.
It's ridiculous.
She just has like the biggest fit. But she'll come back like 2 minutes later.
She'll come back to see if you've reset.
Yeah.
You gonna do it? Yeah.
Are you gonna do it right this time?
Yeah. That's what she does. I know her body language.
It's like super funny.
It's hilarious.
She's like I think she thinks she's a person.
Yeah. She thinks she's a little kid.
Because she acts just like
a
human child.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Zach says, by the way, would you ever do a show about Brian Wilson and that piece of shit psychologist he had? Saw a good documentary about it earlier. Well, sure. I mean, I'll look that case up, but I wrote it down anyway. CB said, my cat broke the TV speaker in the living room because we let her sleep on it when she was a kitten. Now she jumps over the TV. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Oracle says, to quote Terry Pratchett, animals don't murder, only humans can murder. Yeah.
Chimps.
Well, I mean, chimps will, but like I said, they're kind of like humans.
Yeah.
So what are they? What is it? 98.
They'll go out and kill another chimp just for fun.
Yeah.
In a big group.
But mostly animals don't do that.
Yeah.
They usually only do that for food or when they're threatened or whatever. So. CB says, my cat demands I come to bed and won't shut up until I go to bed. Yeah, Bambi comes in the morning, right around 7 a.m. generally, and comes and sits right next to my side of the bed and stares and yells until I get up and feed her. She doesn't jump on the bed. She did jump on the bed again the other day, like of her own volition, which she doesn't usually do. And Pookie was on the bed.
Yeah.
I thought Pookie would get mad and there'd be like a little rumble, like for supremacy of the bed. But Pookie just kind of looked like, what is that other kitty doing on the bed? This is my bed. But she didn't do anything. She just kind of laid there and looked at her. And Bambi just kind of walked around like, this is neat. And then she just jumped back off. Because remember I said, like, she seemed like she was scared to jump on the bed. And we thought maybe the house that she was at before, maybe they didn't let her on the bed. So I'm always trying to get her up on the bed, but she doesn't want to come up. Like she's freaked out by it or something.
Everybody's talking about their cats.
Yeah. See? Everybody likes talking about cats. Yeah, American Military says chimp attack cases frighten me. That was another one that I wanted to do a show about. Has there been more than one? I mean, the most famous one is obviously that woman that got her face torn off, but...
Yeah.
But there have been a couple... Wasn't there that one where that guy was attacked and, like, tore his balls off, or...
Yeah,
something?
that was when they were visiting a chimp that they had in a cave at a place, and then the other chimps broke out and killed him.
They're mean.
And bit his nuts off and bit his fingers off and shit. There was another one that was happening in a forest on the African continent somewhere, where a big old fucking male chimp and a bunch of his buddies ran down there and attacked him and the guide, and I think there was like a ranger with him.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was the white guy. I think he was an American or a South African. I think he was American though. He was friends with the guide / ranger, and that chimp came running right at him. They were trying to get in the car, the main one, and that black dude jumped in front of that fucking chimp, and that chimp fucking grabbed him and just ate him, just bit him to death, and the white dude fucking had time to get in the car. Dude fucking sacrificed himself.
Yeah,
he got in the car,
didn't he?
He couldn't get him. He couldn't get the Ranger back in the car with him. It was too late. That fucking chimp was just biting huge apple-sized chunks out of him. He said he just died miserably. He said he felt bad for him. He knew the dude.
Yikes.
He said looking into that chimpanzee's eyes was like looking into the mouth of hell. He said it looked like, made eye contact with it. He said it was like looking into hell. He said it was like looking at a demon.
Thank you very much. Jeffy Art gave us a super chat.
What's up, Jeffy?
I think I'm on a delay. But speaking of chimps, ever consider a deep dive into domesticated chimps, Travis and Buck? There's also that Netflix documentary. Yeah, I was just going to suggest, because I've actually read a lot of, because I'm actually super interested in like primatology in general. And I have a bunch of books about it. And I'm really fascinated by all of these people that kept chimps and like raised them as human children. And the ones that were on TV. Because remember how in the 70s it was like a big thing for chimps on TV?
Yeah.
And a lot of those...
They were always young chimps, though. They weren't...
That's what I mean.
Grown.
And most of them were females because they tend to be less aggressive.
Yeah.
Generally, the rule was that once the chimp turned 8... you had to send them to like a retreat kind of thing, because after that they became not so much the females but the males for sure. They would become like super unpredictable.
All that testosterone.
And and they would start like,
fighting and biting,
fighting, like tearing people's arms off and shit like that. So it's like so you had to kind of send them. They didn't kill them or nothing, but they sent them off to like a place that would
you can only live with other chimps.
To live with other chimps, but like in a supervised environment, because a lot of them had been raised in captivity, so they kind of stayed in captivity. But I don't know. I have a bunch of ones about chimps and a bunch of ones about bonobos, which are like, that's kind of an interesting dynamic there, because they're very similar, again, genetically to each other and also to humans, but bonobos are like way more chill.
Yeah.
And they're like the boinking ape.
Yeah.
Whereas like chimps will like tear each other's heads off. Like bonobos will be like, hey, let's fuck. You know what I mean?
I saw this program where, it was on YouTube. There's a famous kind of American kid who can learn a language just in a few days. And he's gone to all these countries and learned their language in a few days. Not perfectly, but he can actually converse. He went to a bonobo retreat where they kept him and learned all the bonobo calls. You can see it on YouTube. And was communicating with them. And he said it was just fucking wild. He knew all the calls. He knew their games. And you could see the fucking face. One of the things that... It was girls running the place. And they were behind glass. And you could walk around the glass. And it was kind of a maze, like you could see different places where they could climb and shit. He was doing this chase thing, chase me, and he would, and the male bonobo would chase him across the glass, and they'd go back and forth, and you could see the bonobo was laughing, and he fell down on his back, the man did, and put his feet on the glass, and the chimp saw that, and his face dropped just like that, and he fucking went berserk and did the same thing, put his feet on the glass too, and it was the girls that worked there told him about that game, that they put the feet on their glass and put their feet towards the girls. It's some kind of just sign language game. When that chimp saw him do it, he was astounded. And he's going, yeah, you know about the feet game, And then he got up and he was like, come on. And he's trying to call him into the other section of the pen. And he goes in there and he does something else. There was a push button thing with symbols. And in the push button thing, he tells the girl that works there to give that man some water. Give him water and give him lettuce.
Wow.
Yeah. Feed him. That's what he said. He's cool. You feed him. And fucking the girls that work there said,
give him some lettuce.
Yeah, give him water and give him lettuce. And
I think they would at least say
because
to
he
give him
knew
some
about
breaks.
the feet. He knew about the feet on the glass, and you could see his face. It was like a human face, and he went. And he goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the other one in the back is going, yeah, 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 yeah.
He knows about the feet thing.
He know the feet thing. Funny.
That's why I always thought they were so cool, because it's like they're very human.
The bonobos are more human-like in their actions.
Yeah.
Their facial expressions,
That's what Jeff Yard said.
Their body language.
Said, I found it fascinating that bonobos are like the opposite of chimps.
Yeah, they're real cool.
They use sex to solve problems.
Yeah, real cool, yeah.
My kind of ape. Yeah, I mean, generally, I'm not saying they don't fight, like, sometimes, because I think they do, but what they've seen is that that's what they generally do. Like, if there's some kind of conflict they need to resolve, they're like, well, I'm sure, like, us banging each other
I watched it, though.
problem.
They weren't having sex, though. I saw them do it. One male, they were having fun fucking around. One male jumped up on the other one, landed on him, and just kind of, like, pretended to grind.
Yeah.
And then they were laughing.
It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then they laughed about it. You could definitely tell they're laughing. And then they split up. They're like, "You're awesome, you're awesome. Yeah, you the shit." Then and it was just like you do drunk at the club.
Yeah.
You'll see that, yeah, to your friends. That's all they were doing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's kind of
so I'm sure they do have sex.
Yeah, they do.
But most of the time, from what I saw, they weren't.
Observed.
They were just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah. Well, no, that happens too.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, from all the books I've read about bonobos and, like, people that watch them in the field and stuff like that, they do have sex. Or they'll pretend to.
They were mostly pretending to, from what I saw in this video. It's just some kind of a gesture they do. Like, you're great. I think it's like, you're great.
Yeah.
I'd fuck you. That's what they're saying. I love you. That's what I think it is.
DVD Dragon says, imagine a chimp on Tren.
Oh, fuck.
That would be the worst thing ever.
I was watching some of these other videos. They were talking about the Neanderthal. Somehow or another, they know how much testosterone was in a Neanderthal male. It's between 1,500 nanograms per deciliter and 2,000 nanograms per deciliter. A modern human, the average is more like 550, 500, 600. It makes me wonder. I'm mostly at those numbers, though. 1,500, 2,000. I've been as high as probably 3,000. When you're on trend, effectively, your shit's fucking bad. It has weird side effects. Not for everybody, but for me,
enough that a lot of people talk about.
Most people can't take it. Yeah. I'm really for the legalization and liberalization of testosterone and most of those steroids. They should be
all drugs, really. I kind of feel like most of them should be legalized and regulated.
Most of them should be over the counter.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no reason why you need to go to a doctor to get permission
for most of that shit.
To use it. Most civilized countries, and I'm not talking about Europe, they ain't civilized. They're just all trying to game shit. Most civilized countries, you can get testosterone over the counter. Mexico, you can get it over the counter. It's good quality shit. I've had it before. You know when you need to take that. It won't hurt you. And if you fuck yourself up, you don't know what you're doing, then fuck you. You shouldn't have been taking it. It's on you. Most dudes would not take it if that shit was over the counter. I had a lot of experience with guys and test and HRT, TRT, steroids. The average guy, 80% of them, 90% of them, don't have what it takes to have the regimen and the discipline to take testosterone or steroids. They'll take it for a few weeks and then they stop. That's 99% of them. It's just not in them. You have to be a creature of habit, and you have to have real strong willpower, and you have to train. And they won't do it. Out of every dude that I know that I told them about it, only 2 stuck. 3. Most of them didn't stick. They were like, no, I ain't gonna do it. Or they do it for a few months and they were like, yeah, it was good, but I didn't like the side effects. Well, what side effects? Well, my balls got small. I said, what do you mean you weren't taking the Clomid? Oh, I had to take Clomid? Of course you had to take Clomid. I told you to take. Oh, I didn't know that. And I'm thinking, dude, you weigh nearly 300 pounds. Who gives a fuck that your nuts are small? You could barely get laid without paying for it. You know, it's just if you shoot test, it's like a woman taking estrogen. It'll shut off her menstrual cycle. It'd be the same with a man. You inject test, your body goes, well, shit, I got all kinds of tests. I don't need to make any tests. I don't need, and your nuts will shut down. You'll be on birth control. It's the same thing as birth control that women go through. And these dudes act like it's the end of the fucking world. No, you're just on birth control, bro.
And women do that all
Women do it
the
all
time.
the fucking time. Now, if you want to counteract that, you can take Clomid, which is like a hormone blocker. And it blocks the receptors in your nuts, so it can't read how much testosterone you have. It thinks you have none. So it goes, shit, we got to make test. We got to make sperm. So it'll just make it. Okay. Because it can't see that you're highly overloaded with the shit. So that's what I do. So, you know, I can shoot a load. Fucking, my nuts look great. They look like every other porn star. Because they're on the shit too. If they want to shoot them fucking big fucking scenic fucking loads like in a porn movie, you might have to save up for 4 or 5 days, 3 4 days.
the idea of a scenic load.
You get a scenic load. Like, damn, did you see that?
That was a good word to use.
It's a scenic load. You look at it, it looks great on camera. You know?
So it's like, wow, what a beautiful load.
Yeah.
That should be panoramic.
You know, in case you're new to the show, you know, I got friends in the porn industry. Fucking, and prostitution and shit. But whenever you see that fucking money shot, those dudes have been fucking saving up.
Well, it's got to look good on camera.
They want a bunch of it, yeah. They usually saved up 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine before a big shoot, they're just like, hey, don't jerk off or anything like for a couple of days, so you can have like a nice big, like you said,
saw an interview
with cinematic.
Yeah, I saw an interview with this gorgeous goth girl, long black hair, just covered in tattoos, from California, and her boyfriend, who looks just kind of like a regular, good-looking guy, and you would think she was the porn star. No, he was. And she was just totally in love with this guy, and he was a porn star. And what he was is he was actually an actor on soap operas as an extra. He could never fucking make ends meet, though. He was a trained actor. So he said, fuck it, I'm going to porn.
Can't blame him. Gotta make money somehow.
Right. He didn't even tell his family he was in porn for a couple of years.
Most people don't.
He's doing it for a couple of years. But the thing is, he's doing shooting these scenes, and they never really show his face. He's like a sport. He's like a fucking stunt dick, just jumping in. You're mostly just seeing from point of view down. You never really see the guy's face. You know what I mean? You just see the dick and the body. She was fucking saying like I liked him. You know, she was I think a bartender. She was, I thought the dude was great, and then later on, you know, it comes out and tells me he's in adult films, and she's like, man, I was really, my heart was kind of fucking broken, but I liked him though. She says, I started going out with him, and fucking, he's just a great guy, you know. She's like, they were like really in love with each other, and she's like, I thought the shit was so weird that he was going to these shoots and like being one of the dudes in a gangbang or something, you know what I mean? And she goes, I thought that shit was so weird. She goes, but then what I really thought was weird is that 3 months later, I'm rooting for him while he's fucking saving up 3 or 4 days for the fucking for this big money shot he's got to do with this fucking big name porn star, you know. And she's going like, and I'm hoping everything's gonna work out. She goes, I think it's so weird that I'm fucking hoping everything's gonna work out with his fucking cum shot.
Well, you know, that's his job.
Yeah,
she's being supportive of his job.
Yeah, she's being supportive of him. She said she never thought that was gonna happen.
Right.
You know.
I mean, I get, like I said, I would be, I would have a hard time with it.
I think anybody would.
I mean, I think most normal people would. But like anything, after a while, you know, you probably get used to it.
Yeah, she got used to it.
And like after a while, they'd be like, well, it's just a job. It's not like.
She said what made it easier for her is she met all these people.
Yeah.
And she said that they had their own lives and their own jobs, and they were just regular. They were cool people, and it was like people in a circus.
Yeah,
they weren't threatening
like
people.
I said, I would still be like weirded out about it, but
she said it was weird.
It is, yeah, it is a weird way to make a living.
But he can't have sex. He can't bust a nut for 3 or 4 days because he's got to do this fucking scene with this fucking top name porn star.
I wouldn't be able to.
And she's got to have this. And he's got to
3 or 4 days. I'm like, no.
And he's got to have a fantastic money shot.
We're not going that long.
Yeah. So she's got to fucking hold off for 3 or 4 days so he can fucking.
So if you ever
deliver.
So if you ever came and said, hey, honey, I gotta do a porn shoot. I gotta like not have sex for 4 days. I'm just like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah. Evidently, he didn't always do that.
Yeah.
It was just for like big studio shoots.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like,
if he was just like in a gangbang or something,
really
it wouldn't matter as much.
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of
shit's happening.
There's a lot of other dicks
Yeah.
involved. You're not like the one dick.
And there's camera trickery.
That too.
There's all kinds of ways where they can.
Well, yeah, it's
fool
a movie.
you into thinking that you saw something you didn't actually see.
Yeah, it's a movie. The whole point is just to like make you make it look as good as possible.
Yeah.
Victor says it's funny when you're joking with your friend and tell him suck my dick and he does. LOL.
Yeah.
Like that's when you were saying before about like
the
club and everything.
The monkeys or the chimps.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the chimps. I saw the 2 male chimps do that. It was only a few seconds, and I could tell they were just playing.
Yeah.
Just playing. It's like, you the shit, man. Yeah. And then
I'm gonna kind of fake help people.
Yeah. I'd fucking say that to you. They didn't seem like they were too serious about it.
Yeah, but like I said, they do it though.
Do the males do it?
Yes, the males do it. The females do it to each other. So there's all kind of. They're very pansexual. Our bonobos.
Okay. All right. They go anal, or they just.
Oh, I don't know.
See, that's the thing.
I guess so.
I saw them do that, but I don't know. I don't think they go anal. I think it's just going through the motions.
Maybe.
And it was only a few seconds.
Victor says cinematic loads made me gay.
Yeah.
I'm picturing it in slow motion.
Yeah.
Like a cascading waterfall. Wow. Beautiful. Oh my god. That's like super funny. Tetsuo says Lemmy told me he went to a porn shoot in Canoga Park, got bored, and left.
Who said that?
Tetsuo said that.
But
well, see, that's the thing. I always kind of feel like, watching porn. Well, certain kinds of porn is hot, but filming porn,
they're working.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like most of the shit they're doing is they're just doing it because it looks good on camera. It wouldn't necessarily feel good in real life,
especially studio stuff. Yeah,
because all the weird angles they have to shoot from and all this other kind of crap.
And then some of the amateur stuff that looks like it's on the fly. Me and Jen have made that kind of stuff. It's not on the fly from the point of view of the people that are making it. You're setting out to make that shit today.
Yeah.
And shit's been edited out. I saw one where there's one where a guy takes his wife to a fucking bar. They're in public. She goes over and flirts with fucking 3 guys at another table. 3 black dudes. She takes them into another room. She's fucking popping her titties out. It is a sports bar. But it looks fucking like it's not a setup. It's a fucking setup. Those dudes were not random. Fucking, they were invited to this shoot. They knew exactly what was going on. They end up leaving and fucking her in the alley. It was pretty hot the way it was shot, but I realized that shit was highly coordinated, and he's shooting it. The husband is shooting it with his phone.
Yeah.
He's shooting what they're doing to her, and then he's shooting it from a certain angle that you can see people walking by.
Yeah.
So they're hidden behind the fucking place. It was kind of a masterpiece of what they fucking did, but I'm thinking about it technically. What they had, the whole thing is a total setup.
Yeah, of course.
But the way it was fucking edited is it looked spontaneous.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
The part of the fantasy of it is like, ooh, they're doing something that they're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though, like I said, it's obviously all set up. Everybody knows everybody ahead of time. Because, like I said, you need to get
you gotta have all their data.
You got to have all their shit and everything like that like beforehand before you can even put that video up.
You got to sign release forms. There's all kinds of legal
shit
you got to do before you can publish that.
Yeah, so it's like you can't just pick up some rando off the street.
No, but you can make it look like you did.
But you can make it look like that.
Yeah. It's all fake. And the dude's busted a nut on her, but fucking that was all timed too. And there's edits, so you don't know if they took a break. There's all kinds of shit you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they
When
may
you're looking
like
at you,
edit it in
they could be
between.
like, okay, hold on, I'm gonna take a break. Then they smoke a cigarette. Okay, we get back here. We'll finish. Let's finish this scene.
Let me find a fluffer.
Yeah. So you don't know what other guy probably lost his shit because dude, you have to take over, man. Fucking my heart. So.
Yeah, all kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, and the dudes that it looked like they picked up, those dudes are probably in. Those dudes are in lots of videos. There's a whole scene of them. They all know who they are. They all run that shit through X or Twitter. They have their own Twitter accounts. They're all friends with each other on Twitter. They're all posting fucking videos. They're all starring in each other's videos. And a lot of times they're just doing collaboration. They're not getting paid. They get paid on... They'll do it for free. Sometimes. They'll do it for free. But they have the rights to sell material from that shoot. Or they can sell the shoot too. Or... it might be a kind of thing where a lot of times the talent, you're like, if it's male talent, a lot of times the dudes will just pay him, $200-$300 a pop per dude. And then he makes his own material too with females. And sometimes they'll make 2 videos where he hooks up with some chick and they shoot 2 videos. There are 2 scenes. She gets one and he gets one. So they're different scenes. But he has his payment was the ability to sell his version. Her payment was the ability to sell her version. And then they sell them on their own platforms. Usually mini-vids accounts or OnlyFans. But mini-vids is the easiest for guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one we always used.
Yeah.
That's the one with the least hassle.
It's the least hassle. And
I mean, of the ones
people
that
go
we
to
tried.
OnlyFans for girls.
Yeah.
For the most part. Individual girls and all their materials. OnlyFans is where you just look for videos. Sometimes you'll find some dude and he's got 20 or 30 videos all with different women. But those women have their own sites. So they're trading. It's like an economy. Like a gig economy kind of thing.
CB says, I told my gay friend to suck my dick, and he did. My girlfriend was pissed because she wasn't there to see it.
Oh, shit. You should have fucking recorded that shit.
I would also be pissed if, like, if one of our gay friends sucked your dick and I didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
I would feel profoundly ripped off.
I'll make sure that shit's recorded.
Yeah, at least. If
We
I'm
monetize
not,
that shit.
I mean, I would rather be there to watch it happen live and in person.
Put that on our mini vids.
But if I can't be there for whatever reason, then please videotape
Y'all are
that
fucking bad, man.
and send it to me later. What? Well, I mean, we talk about this
Y'all
shit
are
too.
fucking
You know what I
bad.
mean?
Yeah.
I gotta pee.
Yeah. Ugh. Let me see what all the comments are. Walk away from that. Walk away from me with that ass of yours.
Well, I kind of don't have a choice, do I?
Yeah, I know. It's hard not to walk away with an ass.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I could walk backwards.
Yeah, you walk backwards. Guitar Girl says I watch guitar porn. Yeah, I know it's weird, but hey. So they got Norwegian guitar porn. What is guitar porn? That's some wild shit. I want to hear more about that. No, tonight the topic was not porn. We just got on that. We were talking about serial killers. We'll talk about anything. We just happened to get on this subject. And then Guitar Girl says, I remember when I was younger, like 16, 17, I was horny 24/7. That's weird stuff. Okay, yeah. That's because certain hormones are flooding in. But I guarantee you, I don't know how old you are now, but if you go through, you can inject fucking small amounts of fucking certain types of testosterone and fucking steroids, you'll fucking, all that shit will come back. Guitar Girl saying that she was fucking super horny when she was 16, 17. She said it was weird shit. Fucking, she'd be horny fucking 24/7. I said, try fucking testosterone. It took me a while to get used to these high levels of testosterone. A couple years back, there was like a fucking 3 or 4 month period where fucking I was just like fucking crazy. And then Tren, fucking with that Tren, I never should have fucked with that.
Yeah.
Tren is fucking evil shit.
In hindsight, that was a mistake.
Tren makes you fucking very aggressive. It's fucking great for fighting. You fucking want to fight other dudes fucking 24/7. Dudes you don't know you want to fight. If you know dudes, you're like, yeah, man, yeah. But if you don't know the dude, you're like, what the fuck, you know. You get real simpy towards women, and just everything is fucking sexual. It's weird. It's a weird drug. It's almost like a drug. It's almost like LSD.
Yeah, you were a crazy person on that kind of shit. I mean, I'm old. I'm like 52. I'll be 53 in a few months, and ever since I can remember, I've been horny 24/7. So that's just how I roll, I guess. Like, it comes in fits and starts, but I mean, generally. We got another super chat, this time from Victor. Jenny, if you could peg any celebrity, who would it be? And Tom, if you had to get pegged by any celebrity, who would it be? Ooh, this is going to be a good question. I can peg any celebrity. Would it be boring to say... my first instinct was to say Tom Hardy, but this might be kind of weird. You know the guy that was in Late Night with the Devil? David Dastmalchian? I'm kind of into that dude. So maybe that guy. Or the dude from Urban Heat. Although, yeah, I guess. So that's like 3 celebrities. I guess, if you're talking about celebrities. I'll ask Tom when he gets back.
What's that?
This should be a good one.
What is that?
Victor gave us a super chat.
Oh, he did? What did he say?
And asked Jenny if you could peg any celebrity, who would it be? And Tom, if you had to get pegged by any celebrity, who would it be?
This is some fucking weird.
I mean, this is
sideways that shit. How much did he pay for this question?
$10.
Okay, he paid $10.
So you have to answer it.
So I had to answer.
I already answered.
What was that?
Well, I said my first instinct was to say Tom Hardy, but then I was like, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I'm kind of into that dude from Late Night with the Devil, David Dastmalchian.
Yeah, you want to pick him?
And or the dude from Urban Heat. So I don't know what his name is.
Okay.
So that's 3.
Okay, that's 3 of them.
Yeah, Victor says Tom Hardy's a good one. Oh, I wouldn't turn it down. If he did the little butt arch.
And the question for me was what now?
If you had to get pegged by any celebrity, who would it be? He's putting a lot of thought into this.
What's her name? Fucking Florence. What's her name?
Yeah, you could get pegged by a girl.
Yeah. What's her name?
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh.
That's a good peg.
Florence Pugh. Yeah.
I think she's super cute.
Florence Pugh.
I think she's super cute.
Yeah.
You would also have to videotape that.
Have to videotape that shit. Florence Pugh,
with your phone.
Florence Pugh dressed up as fucking Paige from fucking Fight With My Family. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Because that was her best look, actually.
Yeah. Dressed like that. She was gouged out.
Yeah, make sure that Tom's going to pick Tom Hardy, too. No, I said if it's pegging, you can pick a woman. Because she could put a strap on. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the exercise.
See, he thought he was going to get me to say some gay shit.
He thought you
said, "No, man, fucking, I already, maybe I already thought of it." Fucking a bit.
Maybe he already thought of it. That is a good prediction.
I had a good out. See.
Yeah. Because we kind of have a thing every time.
I like Florence Pugh.
Every time she's in a movie, I'm like, oh, look, your big-headed girlfriend is in.
Yeah, she's got I like her head. She's got kind of a big round head.
Because the first time we saw her in something, it's like, wow, she's got such a big head. I'm like, what? She has a big head?
It's
hair, like, I like it, though.
It was her hair, yeah.
I didn't think she had a bigger head than
it's
anyone
not bigger than that. It was just, I think it was just kind of like her face was prominent in that movie.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a big head, really. No.
Because I think it was in Midsommar that you said that she had a big head.
Her face looked real kind of like cute and cherub-like, and she had that big fucking poofy hair and it looked like a big head. And she doesn't have big shoulders or anything. I think she's a little woman.
Yeah, she's pretty small, I think.
I like her face. It's not. She doesn't have the preferred figure that I like, but she's got a nice figure. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I kind of like stocky or curvy or bigger boobs, I like short, round women, Little waist, big boobs, big ass. I like that. 5'1", 5 feet.
Yeah.
Around that size.
So I'm a little too tall for you, is what you're saying.
No, that's the perfect, like 5'1", 5 feet. You're what, 5'3"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still good.
That's still good.
That's still good, yeah.
I guess.
It's good enough. Well, shit, I've had tall girlfriends.
That's good enough.
That's good enough. It's close enough. It is close enough. I've had real tall girlfriends.
Oh, you're so funny.
Yeah. No, you said what my preferred size was. It's fucking small. Yeah, small. You're small enough.
Yeah, I don't really have a preferred size, to be honest. Like I said, as I think I demonstrated with the 3 weird ass fucking random picks that I had for the pegging, I don't really have a fucking type, as you can imagine, because those 3 dudes look completely different from one
just
another.
knows what she likes when she sees it.
Yeah, I don't like I said, I don't have any like preconceived kind of shit, like any preferences in that way. But it's like if I see something, I'm like, oh, I like that. But it could be something completely weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't even get it.
DVD Dragon thought I was going to pick Tom Cruise. No, that I'm not going to do that to another short man in the mafia. The short man mafia.
And I don't really think that's not hot.
And then Victor Garcia says he wanted to get fucking pegged by Oprah.
Get pegged by Oprah.
That's funny.
That would be pretty funny. She's a legend.
Yeah. Guitar Girl just goes, oh yes. I don't know what are you talking about, Guitar Girl? What are you talking about? Oh yes, what?
I'm just saying.
No,
Isn't it weird?
Responding to Tom Hardy or Daniel Craig.
I mean, Daniel Craig would be a good pick too. I wouldn't. That wouldn't go amiss.
Zach wants to get picked by Daniel Craig big time. He's a fucking Daniel Craig fan.
Yeah. But
I like Daniel Craig too, man. Fucking the fucking James Bonds that he did, which I was thinking about the other day, man. I need to rewatch the James Bonds. I want to see that last one again, No Time to Die. I liked that movie. It was different, but I still liked it.
Papa 77, and you get a peg, and you get a peg. And
This fucking show, man. This fucking show comes up with a fucking...
I love this shit. This is why this is my favorite show of the week. They're all fun, but this is the most fun one.
This show fucking goes crazy, man.
CB said, Tom, you should have picked BTK.
Imagine that motherfucker.
Ew.
BTK
like he just like get him behind, put him behind your butt, and like...
Yeah, you know, Tom, no, he's fucking gay, that fucking fag. Trying to get me to put on a fucking strap on. Yeah, I'll wear women's underwear and stuff like that. But that's just when I'm taking photos. But I'm not into all this pegging thing. He's a fag.
Would you peg BTK?
No. Smell'd kill me.
Who knows where he's been?
No, fuck no.
You know what I mean?
Fuck no.
Oh my god. Tiny says Oprah? Yeah. That's a weird fucking pick. Like I said, I was thinking about it. The first 3 dudes I came up with, I'm like, wow, that was a fucking random assortment, wasn't it? I don't know. Like I said, I can't explain it. I can't explain myself to myself, so I don't try to figure it out. I've given up on
There's a porn name, Pegged Bundy.
Pegged Bundy.
It's funny, okay, yeah.
I thought the days of like cheesy ass porn names were gone.
They kind of are.
I kind of feel like now they're all something like Ashley Stars or some shit like that.
They're not even that. They sound like real names.
Yeah.
They sound like real names now.
Whereas like back in the 70s and 80s, I kind of feel like everybody had like stupid ass names that really obviously weren't real names.
It's because there weren't very
like
many.
Like Chesty Morgan and
there weren't very many
Misty
of them.
Mounds and shit like that.
It's because there weren't very many of them.
Yeah.
And most of them also were touring dancers through clubs, so they had to have this fucking flashy name. They always had stripper names, Belle Star, and all that kind of shit, fucking. So I think they just kept ramping that up all the way through the 80s and 90s. Eventually that shit started to fall apart when reality porn started to come in. They just, would have names like Tiffany something, Tiffany that. And the last names sounded like they could be a name.
Like an actual real name.
Yeah. Tiffany Morgan,
Instead of...
Right.
I did laugh, like, the porn that you bought that I actually really liked that was kind of like the amateur porn, but that was from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And that dude's name was Seymour Butts.
Yeah. That was
which is like a Simpsons joke.
Seymour Butts and fucking Tiffany Towers.
I'm like, wait, there's a porn star really called Seymour Butts, like, seriously?
Yeah, and his girlfriend's name was Shane.
She had a real normal name,
Shane,
though, right?
something.
Something. It wasn't like a weird porn name or anything.
They made good stuff For
Yeah, I liked their shit actually because, like I
they
said,
were just hanging out.
it was just kind of like
Yeah.
it didn't have professional lighting or nothing like that. It just looked like they were just filming shit that they were just doing.
Camera recorder.
Yeah,
Camera.
like hey, I'm sucking his dick in the car. Hey, we picked up this other porn star and we took her back to our hotel room. And...
Yeah, he'd be driving her back from the fucking driving. They'd go pick up Tiffany Towers at the airport, and she'd be in the back seat, fucking blowing him while Shae was driving, and then they switch up. Remember, he was driving, and then they're back there licking each other and shit.
Yeah,
And they just go home, go to clubs, and
those were kind of fun
fuck
because, like I
around
said,
in
it was just
hotel
like
rooms,
people
huh?
hanging out, and they seemed like kind of just cool regular ass.
Well, they were friends.
yeah, people.
Yeah,
Like it didn't seem like it was all
wasn't like staged as much.
right.
But they were friends though. They had her back many times.
Guitar Girl said, Belle Starr sounds like a gay stripper. Well, there was actually, she was a famous, what do you call it?
She was a
stripper. A stripper, like a dancer. Yeah, like a
50s.
burlesque.
Yeah, 1950s.
That's the word I was looking
Belle
for.
Starr.
Burlesque, named Belle Starr, but with an E at the end.
Yeah, big
Belle.
boobs. Big boobs.
Yeah. There's some footage of her around. She was pretty famous.
50s produced a lot of good strippers, great bodies, and it was all genetics and diet. They didn't have implants or anything, but they were kind of like natural wonders of the world. And they would make little movies. Pornography was illegal in the 50s. You couldn't transport it across state lines through mail. There was a lot of stipulations. So they did it through photography clubs.
Yeah.
And they had ways to get around it.
They would sell photos like under the counter.
Yeah,
like
and
stuff,
film.
and you had to kind of know how to ask for
They would
it.
trade it amongst
Yeah,
each other.
like it was real illicit.
Yeah, but you could strip. They had that.
Yeah.
But they had some fucking great strippers, fucking fantastic bodies. A lot of those girls ended up doing pretty well. A lot of them ended up in Russ Meyer's films. Russ Meyer's brought them into the fucking public eye. And that was actually me coming up. I would see movies like that, and they would make big impressions on me. They were just regular PG rated movies, really, just big boob gangster women, and shit, faster pussycat, kill, and weird shit like that. They were some of them were more vixen and ultra vixen. They were kind of like softcore porn, kind of, but they were R rated.
Yeah.
Oh. But I was like, yeah, that's the body style I liked. They were short, curvy, big boobs, like Jen. That was kind of, and sometimes even more extreme.
Full Metal Nosferatu said, my old friend invented a porn name from a milk commercial. Rich Delicious.
Yeah.
That's a good porn name, actually. Rich Delicious.
Yeah.
Maybe you could spell it kind of different. Next Dimension Media said, Tom, do you remember Sika or Seika?
Seika, yeah. Seika was working all the way.
He knows all the shit.
Oh, she was a legend. She was a legend from the 70s. Blonde, full-figured, my type physically. Then she went all the way into the 90s and was doing shit, doing lesbian sex scenes with the young girls of the 90s and stuff. Some of the top actresses, but she was a legend way back in the day. She was up there with like Linda Lovelace and all those from the 70s. But she held up for a long time. She looked great all the way into the 90s. She was silicone, though.
Well, yeah.
She used, it wasn't all natural. As a woman ages, she's going to have to invest into some modifications. Just everybody does. I did. Fucking working out and fucking steroids and fucking testosterone and fucking, you just, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to completely fall apart.
You don't want to fall apart. You got to maintain shit and fucking build.
Papa77 says, Tom spends his off time watching porn, LOL.
No, not all of it. But I just have all the hookups and get all the notifications through fucking, like Twitter and shit.
Yeah.
I know what's happening. And like I said, I know people that are kind of involved in that.
In the industry.
In that industry. I've met them really through drugs. Fucking, but not so much illicit drugs. Fucking testosterone and steroids and shit like that.
Well, I kind of feel like...
They all take those.
most of the porn you like is usually like older shit that you remember
from when I was a kid,
from when you were younger.
Yeah.
So, because recently he's been going back trying to find some of those.
Yeah. There's a good platform. It's called Adult Empire. And you can buy scenes or whole movies from the 90s for only a couple bucks. And you can stream them and cast them to your smart TV.
Yeah, so he's got a couple
for like $2 you can get all the classic shit.
Yeah, so, he tends to like those more than
old stuff. Yeah.
New. I mean, he likes some of the new shit too, but it
more
seems
the
like
amateur new stuff though.
Yeah. Well,
creators are making.
I tend to like amateur shit.
The studio stuff is stale.
Yeah.
It's too stale. Even though some of the performers in there are pretty good, but the good performers that the studios do have, they come from OnlyFans and from social media. That's they like girls that had good mini-vids profiles like us, you know. They got girls that just run mini-vids.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like the YouTube of porn.
Yeah, you can just upload.
You can make whatever you want as long as it fits within
the parameters.
The parameters, and they know who it is, and people have.
Yeah, everybody on camera has to be
of a certain age and identified.
Has to be identified.
Yeah,
like you can't just throw like some random ass people.
Right, you can't put random people. And when you have an account there, you can contact all the other creators, and some of those creators are in rings, like they're all in the same area, and that's how they're making that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they're so good because they like it. A lot of them are not doing it for money. They're doing it because they like it.
Yeah.
They have another job. Well, they're so good that a studio will fucking give them an offer. Hey, would you come and shoot a scene with us out here in L.A.? We'll pay you $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, they go, okay, yeah, all expenses paid, sure. You know.
Why not?
And it's some chick living in a fucking apartment with single mom. You know, something like that.
We need to make some more stuff. Like I said,
it's coming soon.
We just hadn't made any because, like, I got busy and
her other job.
It takes up so much time.
Yeah, and that makes more money.
Yeah. I mean, the videos are fun to do, but they don't make much money.
No, it's more street cred and having fun. Just
like I said, we mostly just made them. For fun, but like we have a lot of other ideas, like for stuff we want to do. We just haven't gotten onto it yet.
I've had offers through Crin Studios for both of us.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah. Just like, you have to get tested, this and that, because we have to lay out all kinds of money, and then we got to have sex with other people. I was like, well, we're not really open to that.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, I might have some performers that might be interested in working with you guys, girls.
Yeah.
But then, you know, it says, well, I said, not really the time, maybe later. You never want to tell them no, because then they get pissed. I was like, it's not really a good time. We're doing other stuff, because they do the same thing.
Yeah.
Other fucking money streams open up, and they have to fucking stop certain programs, you know, or projects. They have to shut certain projects down because they're making money somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you just kind of got to go where the money.
You're going with the flow in the market. But the way the market is right now, it's so flooded, you won't make much money on porn itself. And a lot of those girls that made a lot of money in it, some of it's the porn, but they're not telling you the whole story. A lot of it is the escorting.
Yeah.
That's where the real money is. That's where the real profit is. And we don't want to be escorts.
No thanks. That seems like a recipe for a disaster.
Yeah.
Like I said,
if that's your job and that's your business and fucking that's all you do, then okay, fine. But we got other shit we can do.
I mean, as far as like making videos and stuff like that, I'm open to some shit, but I mean, we've talked about this before. It's like, but there's some like parameters and like some shit that I don't want to do or I'd be really uncomfortable doing.
Right.
So
there's no pressure. See, we don't need to do it for money. We don't need to do anything for money.
Yeah. So it's like if we did do
really
something,
matter.
it would just be like fun.
It'd be for fun.
And to be honest, it's like I always just kind of liked to be able to just make whatever video we wanted when we felt like making it.
Yeah.
And then we can just put it up if we want to or not if we want to. You know what I mean?
We had all kinds of shit we were doing fucking in the car, fucking out in the park. We put one up, but then we pulled it down because the lighting wasn't right. It just wasn't shot right. That was our first attempt. We had some stuff that we shot in a moving car that we never released.
Yeah.
Wasn't really kind of shot right. Fucking, there's a lot of technical difficulties and shit. Where should the camera be?
Yeah.
You know?
You gotta learn all that shit.
You gotta
on the
learn it
fly,
by trial and
kinda.
error. Yeah.
Full Metal Nosferatu says, Jenny, recently Mike Bracken, the horror geek, did a deep dive episode about the movie Caligula.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah,
Good movie.
it is.
I think Penthouse was the backer of that movie.
I think they were, yeah.
Bob Guccione, I think,
Yeah.
was involved in that. It had fucking...
I only be able to sat through it once because there's a lot of like poop and vomit and stuff like that.
No, not that I remember.
No, maybe I'm thinking of that other one.
Yeah, Caligula was about the Roman emperor.
Yeah, I know.
There was a bunch of orgy scenes in it.
I know.
Yeah.
What was the one I was thinking of? I was thinking of somebody will tell me.
And that had Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Malcolm McDowell or Roddy McDowell? Malcolm McDowell.
No, Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Roddy McDowell was the one.
Yeah,
that was in.
it
was in Legend of Hell House.
Yeah.
And Fright Night.
Yeah. Malcolm McDowell. And he was also in Planet of the Apes.
Yes, Roddy
Yeah,
McDowell was in
yeah,
Planet
yeah.
of the Apes.
Malcolm McDowell was in
Sallow,
Caligula.
that was the one I was thinking of. Thank you. I couldn't think of that fucking.
Malcolm McDowell
Yeah,
was in
120 Days of Sallow.
We ought to watch Caligula again. Haven't
Yeah.
seen it in a long time.
I don't think we've reviewed it, have we?
No.
Probably not.
Wonder if you can rent it.
I'm sure
on
you
Amazon.
I'm sure you probably.
Is it?
can.
I think it's X-rated though, isn't it? I think it's considered.
Yes.
I think it's considered softcore porn.
Yes. Although I kind of feel like now once they brought in the NC-17 rating, with stuff that was
That
rated
might cover
X
it.
back then, would that be retroactively like NC-17?
I don't know. I remember there was a big stink about that. They had some really fucking hot model in there, blonde chick, big boobs, doing some lesbian scene, and then later she tried to sue, like, "Oh, it destroyed my career. It didn't work." They were like, "You knew what you were getting involved in." Remember that? Remember that big stink? She was pretty famous.
Kinda. But
There was some kind of scene where they're having this big fucking Roman orgy. They brought in all this fucking exotic food. One of them was like fucking steamed elephant vagina on a big platter.
sounds delicious.
Yeah, I remember that shit. It's fucking weird.
Give me some of that.
And some of that movie, from what I remember, is kind of historical. Fucking Caligula goes to his own jail. He gets thrown in jail. It takes him a long time to realize that the emperor got thrown into one of his own prisons during one of his fucking drunken binges. And they fucking pulled him out of prison, and he brought a dwarf with him that he met in prison, and that was his buddy. And they got in all kinds of trouble. They were fucking ordered the Roman legions to attack the ocean and pick up seashells and shit. Which that evidently really happened.
When on your way back, can you fill my drink?
Yeah.
Are we out? We're out of tea,
We're out
right?
of tea. I'm gonna get you some.
That's all right. So that's fine. American Military asks, would you classify Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a hillbilly horror or a proto slasher?
Both. It's both.
I think I'm gonna lean more toward hillbilly horror because a slasher movie. I kind of feel like slasher movie tropes are more like a Giallo movie or more like Halloween. You know what I mean? Where you kind of have this boogeyman type character. I kind of feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even though it does have like killers that pick off the victims one by one in various horrible ways, it's not really... I don't know. It's not like a stalk and slash type of movie because everyone's kind of in the same house. I don't know. So to me, it seems like you could kind of say it was a proto slasher, but I kind of feel like it's more hillbilly horror. Definitely. Papa says, I could have went my whole life without hearing steamed elephant pussy.
What's he saying?
He said I could have went my whole life without hearing steamed elephant pussy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It comes on a big platter, and you see it, and it's like stuffed with something.
You never know what you're going to hear on this show. I never know what I'm going to hear on this show. It just kind of pops out. You know what I mean? It's like we never plan anything. The funny thing is, like, every now and then, before we start the stream, Tom will be like, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, when have we ever had trouble, like, just talking about complete random bullshit for, like, 4 hours? Never. So, I was like, don't worry about it. So, we never really, like, plan it. Every now and then, they'll be like, oh, we should make sure to mention something, like, if something exciting happened, but usually we don't fucking plan anything. We never know where the fucking conversation's gonna go. It usually ends up in places like this, though, if you're new here. That's just kind of how we roll. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yeah, Next Dimension Media said most of that stuff from back in the day was never really rated because the fees to submit to the MPAA, so they invented XXX. Yeah, there was kind of a whole thing where... I mean, I guess technically you can still release stuff unrated nowadays, because I have seen stuff that was done that. It's not, you don't have to like submit it to the MPAA. It's just that if you don't, you won't get wide distribution. Yeah. But I kind of feel like that's not as important nowadays, especially if you have like an indie flick or something.
Yeah, it's not.
Like it's not really.
Well, you'd want to sell it to fucking Netflix or
or like a streaming service, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, you got to cut stuff out. But it's really sad because like even back in the day. Even back in the 80s, which was, the heyday of slashers and stuff, those movies got fucking cut to ribbons, even in the U.S. Like, a lot of stuff got taken out. And most of it's been put back in nowadays, like on the special Blu-ray releases and everything. But when they were released theatrically, they cut all kind of shit out.
Got a girl's going, what is testo anyway? I'm talking about testosterone.
No, I think she's talking about this. His name, Tetsuo Iron Man.
Is that what she said? Oh.
That's a movie, actually.
Is that what she's talking about?
I thought that's what she was saying.
No, she's saying testo. Because I was telling her about it.
Oh, okay.
So about those testosterone, is that something you can buy in shops in the U.S.? That's what she said.
No.
You
cannot.
You have to. It's not over the counter in the United States. It's over the counter in other countries. There are services that can get that to you, if you know what you're doing.
If you know.
The drug smugglers, but it is what it is.
It's a gray area.
There's a way. You're best with a VPN and know how to use cryptocurrency. All right? And then there are sites in other countries that can get things to you. And when it comes, the quality is very good. I know because I started on American stuff and paid for American stuff. And when I got some of the foreign stuff, a lot more bang for the buck. Better, more concentrated milligrammage, cheaper. Because the American medical system here is a scam. It's a ripoff. The idea is to maximize profit and to get the government to pay for it. This shit doesn't cost anything in other countries. Very cheap. That's why they don't want to give it out here. Because the patents have run up. The patents have run out on all those hormones and all those synthetic steroids and synthetic hormones. So the commissions on them are very low. And the drug companies don't want to sell that to people. They won't make any money off of it. And it alleviates certain problems like diabetes. It'll help with diabetes, okay? And fucking obesity. And they make a lot of money on those problems. So they're not in this for your health. That's a misconception that Americans have, that the medical industry cares about you. They care about money. It's just like back in the 1800s, those dudes on those fucking wagons selling the fucking snake oil bottle, his patented medicine. They're doing the exact fucking same thing. They'll have a perfectly good drug that works, but because the patent has run out, they'll try to make a replacement to that is patented, even though it's inferior to the one that they're replacing it with, or more dangerous, because they'll make more money on it. They're crooks.
American Military says, help me settle a debate I'm having. Who's more influential, Wes Craven or John Carpenter? I'm going to say, that's kind of a hard to say. I'm going to say Carpenter all day. Not that Wes Craven isn't, well, because the thing about Wes Craven, though, is that he made Last House on the Left, and he made Nightmare on Elm Street, and he made Scream. So that's like 3 decades where he made like kind of genre-defining films. However, I feel like in the long run, at least in what I'm seeing in horror nowadays, it seems like more people are aping John Carpenter's style. So I think in that sense...
His good style.
Well, yeah,
Not his shitty style.
I mean, here's the thing. We were talking about this because we were watching... We got sucked into... if you guys watch Brandon Tenold on YouTube, he's a Canadian. He's from Saskatchewan. And he does like shitty movie. Like he sometimes does good ones too, but he usually does like really obscure like shitty movies, and he does kind of an MST style jokes about them. And we were watching some of his old stuff, and he was talking about Dario Argento, and he hadn't really done many Dario Argento movies on his channel. He had done that horrible fucking Dracula 3D movie, which is like the worst thing ever if you haven't seen it. But then we watched the one that he did on Tenebrae, which is actually one of Dario Argento's best movies. And he kept bringing up like how shitty Dracula 3D was, but he's like, look, like he could actually make good films. But we were saying that even a great director is gonna shit the bed every now and then. You know what I mean? And like, I'm gonna say though, there's some directors like Stanley Kubrick, David Lynch, people like that who I kind of feel like every movie they made was good and was worth watching. But you can't really say the same for like a lot of directors. I kind of feel like once they get to a certain age, their shit usually starts to decline. And sadly, as much as I love Dario Argento, and I mean Suspiria is one of my favorite movies of all time, his shit like drastically declined like after the 90s. I kind of feel like Stendhal Syndrome was like the last good movie that he made. And that Dracula movie, that was just unforgivable. That was a fucking terrible ass movie. I did see the Giallo that he made in, when was it, 2022? That was called Dark Glasses. That wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. Like, it was just kind of, that was alright. It was a fuck of a lot better than that fucking Dracula movie. Holy crap. Holy crap. Yeah, so not all directors, because I kind of feel like there are some directors, a handful, that every single movie they made, even when they got old, was still fucking good. You know what I mean? Like I said, I mean, David Lynch, he didn't make a fuck ton of movies, but every single one he made was pretty much a masterpiece. And Kubrick, pretty much the same. But, you know, John Carpenter, I kind of feel like he had a great run from the late 70s to the mid 80s, maybe the late 80s. And then after that, not so much. But honestly, by that time, he made Halloween and he made The Thing. So I kind of feel like even if he just made those two movies and then didn't ever make a movie ever again, like his legacy would still be cemented, you know? So you can't like hate on him too much. But like I said, I mean, Wes Craven probably, I'm going to say, like, I think in the aggregate, I think Wes Craven probably made more good movies than John Carpenter did. But I don't know. Wes Craven's pretty influential too, but I think I'm going to say Carpenter. You know? Carpenter. Yeah, American Military said, hey, he made Christine. Yeah, he made Christine.
Carpenter just
which I feel like is an underrated.
He made movies that changed American culture.
Yeah.
The Thing. You know? I thought Escape from New York was fucking great. It made an impact on me when I was a kid.
Yep.
Christine.
Didn't love Prince of Darkness.
In the Mouth of Madness was pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to see that one again. But I mostly think of The Thing when you mention Carpenter.
Which, I mean, that's one of my top 3 horror movies of all time.
And Halloween.
And I don't think that The Thing is ever going to be dislodged from that. I mean, that is just like a perfect horror movie.
The Thing is pretty perfect.
I wouldn't change a single thing about that movie. Not a single thing.
And the sequel's good. Sequel's good?
Yeah, the one that came out in 2011.
Yeah.
Which is technically a prequel, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a prequel, yeah.
Technically, it's a prequel. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China, also great. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Guitar Girl says you gotta check it. Yeah, look. Jen tried Anavar, but she didn't really respond to it. Anavar is the first one that women would take, but most of the time they're talking about women that are young, and they have fucking very functional endocrine systems and a lot of hormones in them. They can take Anavar because it doesn't disturb the endocrine system as much. Older people are far more tolerant to steroids than younger people are. We have a lot less side effects because our endocrine system doesn't try to fight them and balance them out. You just inject it, and your endocrine system basically goes, okay, we'll do that then. I have very little side effects. I've noticed almost no side effects in Jen. No acne, no fucking... You get a little bit of water retention. You'll have the signs of fucking virilization a little bit. You become more virile. But you're becoming more physical. More athletic. Jen fucking, when she's dressed up and looking at her shit, fucking, she looks like one of those female Klingon warriors from the fucking movies and shit. She moves like a leopard when she's decked out. She's got a real tough looking body, you know, fucking sexy legs and shit. She's got fucking good little shoulders now and arms. Jen used to hold her arms up and her arms would droop.
Yeah,
that's all gone. She looks like an athlete now.
It didn't take much to tighten that up. Nope. I was afraid that was never going to get fixed.
No, a couple months.
It didn't take much at all. Because I don't do much arm stuff. I mostly do legs.
You did enough arms and then you moved on to legs.
I mostly do legs and core.
Yeah, legs and core. Because her arms, you don't really want to develop your arms that much more than what you already have.
No, because my arms are kind of...
They're good enough.
Yeah.
They're good.
They're not big, but they're just kind of like, I don't really want them to get like any bigger.
Yeah, she's not trying to...
Because I already have kind of wide shoulders and big boobs, so I don't want to look too fucking big on top like a fucking linebacker, you know?
So, like, you were too ashamed to tell me how old you were. You just said you lived through the 80s. Fucking, I don't know why you're ashamed about age. So
I'll tell people how old I am.
Fucking... Yeah, I'm 56.
Yeah.
You know, Jen, how are you? 51?
52.
52?
I'll be 53 in September.
Yeah. So it's safer. It's a lot safer for a woman of this age to play with this stuff. It's more beneficial and less risk. What I'm telling you is the truth. It's not the fucking standard propaganda that you're going to hear. Which is, I hear all kinds of fucking crazy shit talking about steroids and hormones. It's just fucking ridiculous, you know. They got people that hate that shit, and they just think it's wrong to take it. It's like a religious fanaticism. And then dudes that take it are like, what the fuck are they talking about? If you, as long as you're not fucking growing to the size where you're a fucking 100 pounds, 150 pounds overweight with muscle, you're going to be okay. When you get really fucking big... The human heart was not designed to power a body that fucking big. Yeah, those dudes could die. It'll tear your fucking heart valves up. But that's not our goal. Our goal is just to remain fit. Okay? I gained weight. I weigh fucking 187. Before, I weighed about 150. But it was mostly fat. Now it's mostly muscle. I'm fucking about 12% body fat, which is good. For a 55-year-old, 56-year-old. I'm in the top 1% globally. In terms of fucking... If you fucking go to AI and you fucking say, you know, what's a 5'6" dude, fucking 190 pounds, 12% body fat, what kind of man is that? It's going to say that's a professional athlete. And at 55, he's a fucking at the top 1% globally. Less than 1% probably. But what I was getting at is Anavar, at your age, I'm assuming you're over 40, Guitar Girl. Anavar may not be strong enough. Okay, you might want to go to something like...
I mean, it wasn't for me.
But
like I said, I don't respond to hardly anything. So
yeah.
Take that with a grain of salt. I'm not a normal person.
Yeah.
So nothing works on me pretty much.
One that's been noted has been pretty safe for older women is Decadurabolin, or Deca. You can get that, and it's pretty cheap, and it's strong. Okay, you don't want to take any more than fucking 150 milligram, 300 milligram. Depends on. And here's another thing: the dosages they're giving you, and all this advice, the underground advice, is all experimental. It depends on the person. Each person reacts differently, so you always start small. With smaller doses, and if nothing happens, just keep increasing it over the weeks until you start seeing results. To do this shit, you have to have a decent diet, high protein, and you have to lift weights, which is much better than and a fucking aerobic bullshit. And it's concentrated down into just lifting fucking heavy weights a couple times a week, and it's less than an hour and you will see, if you're on that shit, you will see results. In 18 months, you'll be transformed. All right, you'll be transformed in 18 months. That's where most of your gains will be happening. And then after that, your transformation starts tapering off. You know, I'm about 5 years into it. I won't get much bigger than I am now. But it'll be little things like getting a better shape, better definition, less fat. You know, that's what I'm trying to do now.
Tetsuo brought up Bay of Blood.
Yeah, good one.
Which, that's Mario Bava.
Yeah, Mario Bava.
I would argue, otherwise known as Twitch of the Death Nerve, which I wish they had used that title because I like that a lot better. I would argue that is the first slasher that modern audiences would recognize as a slasher. If you showed somebody Bay of Blood, which came out in, I think, 1970 or 1971, if you showed somebody Bay of Blood, they would be like, that's a slasher movie. You know what I mean? Because I kind of feel like some people would be like, oh, Psycho was the first slasher. Technically not. Like, I think Psycho and Peeping Tom... I think Peeping Tom was more a slasher than Psycho. That came out the same year, 1960. But it's not exactly the same. But Bay of Blood, I definitely feel like it has almost all of the later slasher tropes. So I would argue that Bay of Blood is the first slasher. CB says Scream was a Halloween ripoff. It was. I'm saying it's... I like Scream, but it wasn't doing anything revolutionary. But I think it kicked off the whole ironic metafiction kind of trend in horror that that went on through the 90s and through the 2000s. Weirdly, like Wes Craven also made Wes Craven's A New Nightmare, the Freddy one, which was also metafictional, and that came out like a couple years before. But people didn't latch on to it the same way that they latched on to Scream. For some reason, that really resonated with everybody. And like I said, it wasn't even the first time that a movie had been made that the characters in a horror movie knew horror movie tropes. That had been done before. But for some reason, that was the one that everybody remembered. And then after that, every movie had to be like that. Which, like I said, I liked Scream, but I think that was the reason that I didn't like as many of the horror movies that came out in the wake of that. Because it almost got to a point where it's it wasn't cool to make just a scary horror movie. It always had to be ironic. You know what I mean? Or you just, we all know this isn't really serious. We're just going to make a big fucking joke about it. And it's I don't like that. If you're going to make a horror movie, make a fucking horror movie. Scare me.
That passed, though.
It did. It did. And like I said, thank fuck.
Let me answer Nosferatu's question. He wants to know what would I recommend for pinched nerves. When I was in that near-fatal motorcycle wreck when I was in the Army, I was in a coma for a while. When they fucking pulled me out of that shit, I recovered. They sent me back home. And at that time, my home was in Sao Paulo, Brazil, because that's where my fucking family was. They flew me to Brazil on medical leave when I was in the Army. And man, my fucking shoulder was still fucked up from that motorcycle wreck. I was fucking maybe 22, 23 at that time. And my mom was like, oh, I know a guy you need to see for that. Fucking, his name is Dr. Tiago. And he was a Brazilian-Japanese guy who was a doctor of fucking... It was acupuncture and acupressure and a bunch of other stuff. And what he did was he did some stuff that was kind of like chiropractic, where he was moving muscles in there. And then he would stick needles in certain places and then put electric... fucking connections there and electrocute parts of my fucking back, and they would start vibrating. That kind of shit is actually good for things like pinched nerves, fucking displaced ligaments, and fucking fucked up muscles. So with pinched nerves, I would look for something like a really good acupuncture, acupressure type guy, either Japanese or Korean. Look for that. Not some mumbo jumbo dude. A dude that has a reputation. He might be able to fix it. Because they deal with nerves. Nerves and fucking tendons and muscles. Kind of like a chiropractor deals with bone. So that's my recommendation. Look in your area for something like that. Ask around.
Kason Lee is here saying, hey guys. Also saying Tom didn't accept my Facebook request.
Oh, who?
Jenny did. Kason Lee.
I'll look.
Yeah. I remember you. I remember you like friended me.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't see it. I'm rarely on Facebook. Let me go look.
He goes on like Messenger, but like he doesn't really notice a lot of stuff. So yeah. Kason Lee said those nightclub pics are great. I'm assuming the ones that are on the Facebook page. We haven't really. It's what's weird. It's like we haven't really taken many pictures recently.
Yeah, a lot of those are old.
Like Charissa usually takes a lot of pictures or videos. Like she had a funny video of Tom on the stripper pole.
On the stripper pole. It was a video.
Yeah, it was a video. Did she post it on Facebook? Or did she just send it to you?
I got it.
I know. I
don't think she posted it.
I don't think so either because I would have seen it. I didn't see it.
She probably sent it to me. Maybe I'd post it. I didn't post it though.
Yeah, because usually, she's pretty good about.
I was bloated at the time. I was retaining a lot of water from fucking Nandrolone and shit.
He was on the stripper pole.
I was on the stripper pole.
He had clothes
looking
on.
fat.
He had clothes on. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But we haven't like taken any, which just sucks because like the last few times like we've been out, I'm like, damn, I look good. Like we should probably take pictures. But I get there and I just forget about it.
I don't see a notification from you, bro.
Maybe send another one.
Hold on.
Because I remember your friend request. I remember.
Hold on. I'll go to friends and see if there's a.
And don't get like, because I have like a bunch of different. My personal one.
Yeah.
I mean, I know all you guys. It's okay. My personal one is Jenny Ashford Ross, but I also have a bunch of. I have a 13 o'clock one. I have an author one, which is just Jenny Ashford, and I always forget to check that one. I have one for Scare Salon. I have one for, like true crime shit. So I have like a bunch of different ones. But my personal one that I'm on all the time is Jenny Ashford Ross. That's my main one. And that's the only one I check regularly. And I don't check it that regularly.
Okay.
Maybe once every few days. So, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't see send me another one.
Yeah, because maybe
I don't see a friend request.
Because I remember getting one and I remember accepting it, but because generally I recognize your name, but
wait a minute, I see a notification here on this little thing.
I get a bunch of them.
One notification.
If I only have one person in common, I'm probably not going to friend that person unless I know who they are, or like unless I met them. But every now and then, weirdly, like I'll get a friend request from somebody that's like, "You have 163 mutual friends," and I'm just like, "Okay, how am I not already friends with this person?"
Maybe I can search for him.
Oh, should we say that weird shit about that girl?
What girl?
Sarah.
No.
About how that happened?
No, don't worry about that.
That just reminded me because of all the friend request stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta pee again.
Okay, hold on.
Talk about something.
I'm looking for Case and Lee.
He said he was gonna send another one.
Okay, I think. Okay, yeah. I looked for you, and it says friend request. I'll accept it. There you go. All right. There's two of them actually. No, just one. The Sri Lanka one. I got you. That's a hellacious beard, bro. You got it shaved over here, though. Yeah, all right. All right, man. Good. I got you. Casing down in fucking Sri Lanka. Okay, let me go back to the show. Back to the Sidetracks show. See the comments. Yeah, I got you.
For a second, I didn't see you because you were like ducked down behind the
guitar girls
microphone.
asking stuff. Got a bunch of questions. Okay.
All right. Wait, but you've never sucked dick?
Who? Who's talking about?
Tetsuo said.
Okay.
Are you guys on X? I'm not.
No.
But you are. Aren't you?
It's
on Twitter?
Yeah, but I don't want to follow anybody from the show on Twitter because I got a bunch of porn on there with us on it.
Oh yeah, okay.
So.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because that's one of our porn fucking sites I use.
Yeah. I mean, unless you really want to see that. We don't have a bunch of stuff. It's just because,
Yeah.
like I said, we only made a few things, and then I got busy doing other shit. But, you know.
Yeah, okay, so Nosferatu comes back and says he does have an acupressure mat I really like and great chiropractor. Yeah, I do really want acupuncture. Yeah, the kind of acupuncture that worked for me was they were sticking needles in there and then they were electrifying them, putting current through them, and it would cause your muscles to work like fucking crazy, like brrrr. He had a damn electric board that he was doing it with. He could control the intensity and everything, how much voltage was going through, what the pulses were like. He'd have my fucking back just jumping, man, and fucking it within a like a week. I would go there like every 2 or 3 days. Actually, I guess it was between like 2 weeks. I'd go there like every 3 days. That shit fucking got a lot better. And then it went away. Every time I moved my arm, I could feel fucking tendons fucking snapping and popping. But he said it was also for nerves. He could find nerves. So something like acupuncture where they're using electricity. He was using a Brazilian, I think that might have been a Brazilian thing that they were doing. His name was Dr. Tiago. He's probably dead now. Because he was old then. I think he was in his late 50s then, so he's probably dead. He was great though.
I wonder what that would be like. It'd be just, I don't really have any problems with I used to have lower back problems when I was younger, but not anymore. Now I have a lot of shoulder and neck pain, but I think it's just because I have a tendency to like tense my shoulders up all the time from like anxiety, and I don't realize I'm doing it. So like sometimes I'll be like, oh, there's nothing to worry about. Like, why am I doing that? But it's like if I'll do it like all day, and then like at night I'm like, God damn, my fucking shoulders hurt so bad.
All right, I tell you what, Guitar Girl, if you want to follow us on X, send me your X account on Facebook Messenger. A link to it. I'll friend you there.
I don't even know what all is on your Twitter account because, like I said, I don't go on there.
It's nothing really.
I don't have an account on there.
It was
anymore.
just a little. There's no nudity on it. It was just some behind the scenes shit we were doing in here
Oh, okay.
when we were streaming.
Oh, okay.
We had clothes on though. Although I think I do have a sample scenes up there.
I mean,
I don't care if
she
doesn't have to look if she didn't want to.
That's what I mean. It's just kind of like I'm not worried because I know that like because I know Zach was like saying something like because didn't you send him a picture of my tit like when you pierced my nipple or something?
Yeah.
And he's like, ooh, it's like seeing pictures of my parents naked or something like that. Which
Yeah, she doesn't have Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people.
Okay, look.
Or you have Instagram though, right?
If you have Instagram, I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, he's on Instagram too.
Yeah.
But you know, that's kind of the thing. I'm too old to be like bothered about it anymore. I probably would have been a lot more bothered about it when I was younger.
Yeah.
But nowadays I don't really give a fuck.
Look at how good Bakar's looking. Look what she just posted. Look at her legs,
that's
man.
a good picture.
Yeah.
That's a good picture.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Full Metal Nosferatu says, my chiropractor does have an electric pulsing massager.
He does?
But no needles involved.
Okay, no, this was needles.
When he uses it on me, I ask for it to go to 11.
Yeah. All right.
That's pretty funny.
My Instagram is lowercase Thomas.Ross, lowercase, .3158. Thomas Ross 3158. It'll come up.
Yeah, with
you can friend me
dots
there.
in between.
I don't know what she's saying.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sex is in the mind. To a large extent, yes, it is. But like I said, that's one of the coolest things. Probably, well, the main cool thing about getting old is like you stop giving a crap.
You don't give a shit.
What other people think. That's like the best thing. That's the best thing. Because when I was younger, I was just like so worried about it. I don't know why, in hindsight. But
you'll see an icon that looks like that. Me with the motorcycle. The green one.
yeah. Which I think I made that, didn't I? Didn't I cut you out of a background and put a different background on you or something? Yeah, that's right, because I thought you took that picture in front of, like, Starbucks or something.
Yeah, and then you made it look like a comic book.
Yeah. You can't really see the whole thing. I think, wasn't Bigfoot involved?
Yeah, Sasquatch.
It was some kind of Bigfoot. Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
It was a long time ago that I made that. You still had hair in that picture.
Yeah.
That was before you shaved it all off.
Yeah.
It's funny to think now. It's like, even though I still have all those pictures and stuff like that, now it's like weird to see pictures of you with hair.
Yeah.
Even though that's how I knew you for most of the time that I knew you, you had hair. But now I'm so used to you being like all bald and sexy and everything. I liked the hair too, but you know, it's good either way.
It was a long time ago. You can only keep a certain look for a certain amount of time.
That's true. Now you kind of look like... It's funny because every now and then we'll be at the club and somebody that hasn't been there for several years will turn up and won't recognize him. You know? Some of them don't recognize me either because of all the wigs and shit.
I'll be at the club and fucking some girl walk by who's known us for years and says, "Hey, how you doing? Don't you touch me?"
Yeah. that happened like a couple months
back. Says, "You know me. I don't know you." I said, "Yeah, I'm Tom. Remember me, Oh, it's you."
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
She got real like she thought some random ass dude was grabbing her.
Yeah. Don't you touch me.
Like, we know
She's
you, baby.
like, "Oh."
We just hadn't seen her in a long time.
Yeah, I hadn't seen her in a long time, and I gained fucking 50 pounds of muscle. And shaved my hair and fucking grew a beard.
She did not recognize him.
Yeah,
she did not recognize him at all.
Mm-mm.
She thought some scary dude was grabbing her
Some scary
arm.
dude was fucking with her,
yeah. Tetsuo said, "I hate Orlando. It's so damn humid." It is very humid.
That's the only thing wrong with the place is it's hot here.
And the big, huge fucking cockroaches.
Yeah, we don't see them very often.
That too. Not as much anymore. They don't seem to come in this hot. Well,
I got to spray the defense barrier, too.
I don't want to curse it. The defense barrier.
Yeah, the defense barrier. The problem with the defense barrier is that the cats have to jump over it. They fucking hate it.
Well, yeah, they can smell it, and
they smell
just
it
like, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah.
Oh my god. Did I like that? I was talking about a time that you wore a wig. I laughed my ass off. Yeah, you don't really wear the wigs a lot anymore. I still remember the Halloween a couple years ago when you dressed up as Michael Caine from The Hand?
Yeah.
And you had that crazy wig and like the boiler suit and like the fucking disembodied hand on your shoulder.
Yeah.
That was so fucking funny. And then you like talked like Michael Caine. Is he fucking you?
Yeah. Is she fucking you?
That was so fucking funny. That's a great movie if you guys haven't seen it. Oliver Stone. That was Oliver Stone's first movie, was it not?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's a good-ass movie. I kind of feel like it got forgotten about. But I remembered it because I remembered his hand getting cut off by the fucking truck going by, and that freaked me out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I remember that.
Yeah, it always makes you afraid to put your hand outside the fucking...
I still don't.
The rest of your life, you're like...
Because of that movie.
Yeah.
That stressed me out almost as much as David Warner getting decapitated by the pane of glass in The Omen.
Yeah.
Which still kind of freaks me out.
That one doesn't bother...
That kind of freaks me out a little bit.
For some reason, that didn't bother me.
Decapitation in movies always kind of freaks me out. So.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh, that would be like the worst fucking thing. Oh. Guitar Girl said, "I noticed that me and Jenny often drink at the same time. Like, often." Case and Lee said, "Jenny has made Tom look like a gay hairstylist." That's awesome. I didn't make him look like anything. He did this on his own.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him, but she's like, "You know what? I'm going to shave my head." And I was like, "Okay, do what you want. I'm going to grow a beard." "Okay, do what you want."
Okay, on X, I'm just Tom Ross with a bunch of numbers. And that same icon, the green and blue one. Of me going like that in the motorcycle.
That's like his favorite picture. I made that like so many years ago.
Yeah, I need to get a new one.
You probably do.
Need to get a new one, me without a shirt on, fucking bald as fuck, with the fucking like that, like some out of Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I could Photoshop you on a Conan. Yeah, you want me to do that?
Like a Conan type situation.
Do like a Conan thing.
Be fucking funny.
But
motorcycles and Conan.
But bald Conan.
Yeah.
That would be super funny.
Well, actually, kind of like a fucking pirate.
Pirate would be good too.
Like a pirate.
Look, you look. You have an eye patch right here.
Oh shit.
You got your Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
I don't remember why you got that. Why'd you get that?
No, it was a gift.
There you go.
Murdhorn gave this to me.
That's right.
He got this off a real blind man in Mexico.
Boy, he didn't need it anymore.
He traded him something for it. He says, let me get that. And he lets him do with his eyesight. Yeah.
He's like, "What? You can't see it anyway."
See, I'd wear this shit if I was missing an eye.
I mean, I would too.
I'd feel like a douche fucking just wearing it with a good eye, though. With two good eyes.
Well, you could just tell a story.
I gotta get my eye poked out before I can wear this.
What, you want me to poke your eye out now? Oh, okay. I'm not
your eye can only legitimately be poked out if it was an accident. You can't do it on purpose.
I could accidentally.
Yeah, it's got to be accidental.
You could tell people that you poked your eye out with your own dick.
Well, that happened. That happened.
People will be like,
it didn't actually
really?
hit it, but it shot into it. It fucking burned.
I was on a fucking like a subreddit the other day, and that was the headline, was like, I came in my own eye. And I was just kind of like, okay. That's kind of like that fucking Wang.
Well, you've seen that kind of shit almost happen.
Yeah, you've almost done that a couple of times.
Yeah.
So I can see that happening. Yeah. I'm sure that's pretty common.
It happens.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm blind. Yeah. That's so funny. That was just like that Wang video about that like 13-year-old kid that like jerked it into his Dreamcast.
In
Brazil.
In Dreamcast and fucked up his Dreamcast. He had to explain it to his mom.
I think that story's fake, but it's a delightful story.
No, I don't think it was fake.
It's so delightful.
I think it was real. I think it was a real story.
He was like 13 years old or something.
Yeah.
He's like, I broke the Dreamcast, I cummed in it.
Yeah. He was watching the video, wasn't he?
It was so funny.
Watching some porn.
Well, he was watching porn on a computer.
On a computer.
And then his Dreamcast was over there and it was like still open.
And he hit it, yeah.
And then he turned away so he wouldn't make a mess on the table.
Yeah.
And he accidentally, and he broke it. And then like he couldn't, and his parents had just bought it for him and it was super expensive. And he didn't want to tell them that he had jerked it into it accidentally. And that's why it wasn't working anymore. He did eventually like fess up, but it's a pretty funny fucking story.
Yeah, the tech guys in Brazil saw it and knew what it was. If I remember correctly. Because they sent it to the tech support and they looked at that and they go, "That's cum."
We know cum. We know cum when we see it. Oh my god, that's like the only one of the Wang cum videos that I can watch without throwing up. Because most of the ones that he does that are like cum jars and cum drawers and stuff like that, and I'm just like, that's disgusting. I can't watch those, and I can't watch the poop ones. I can watch all the other ones, but that one's actually like kind of wholesome and funny. 13 and cummed, that's fake. No, it's not. Dude's gonna that's puberty age.
Oh, he was saying that it looked like a gay hairstylist on the picture.
Oh, okay.
The picture that
you look like a gay hairstylist.
No, I had that hair. I looked like one of the members of fucking Duran Duran.
Yeah, he had like it was kind of swept over. Like
yeah.
It was black when I met you. Well, your natural hair color is very, very dark. Yeah. It's almost black.
Almost black with red highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
it isn't anymore. It's gray.
I mean, mine probably is too. I haven't seen it in a long time because I just usually dye it black.
It's probably gray.
Mine's probably gray. Also.
My beard is totally white.
Well, not totally white.
No, this is dyed.
Well, I know that, but I mean, I've seen it when it's not dyed and it's not completely.
It has some.
white.
There's some black.
It's salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. All right.
It's salt and pepper. But yeah, I don't know how gray mine is. Like, you know, obviously there's roots. When the roots come out, like it's kind of gray. But then like my hair is red naturally, but I just dye it black because that's easy. But yeah, then not too long after I met him, he bleached it white. That looked good too. Like a lot of people seem to like that. I don't know. Like opinions were mixed. I feel
my white hair.
Yeah.
It wasn't really white. It was fucking blonde.
Yeah, but it was like white blonde.
Yeah, it was platinum.
Yeah, it was like platinum blonde.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the black hair better, but the white blonde looked good too. That was kind of a whole vibe. He did that.
I got pictures of it if y'all want to see.
He did that a couple of times,
yeah.
Like while I knew him.
Yeah.
But
I'll show it.
I did mine. Well, I bleached mine in preparation for dyeing it another color. And I took a couple pictures of it because I was like, hey, that doesn't look half bad. I was like, I'm not leaving it this color. But I took a couple pictures anyway. Because I think I was dyeing it purple. Because I had it purple for a little while. And so I had to bleach it out because it was black. So I had to bleach it out. And man, I had to use a lot of bleach. I was surprised all my hair didn't fall out. But it was fine. I conditioned the fuck out of it. I had it purple for a while. I had it bright red for a while. I liked that. It's a pain in the ass to maintain. But what other colors did I do? I did dark red. But that was black hair.
That's me with black hair.
That's pretty close to his natural color.
Yeah.
Yeah, he naturally has dark hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it looked like. It was all swept over to one side. You always made that same face in pictures. You were always like, yeah.
Because I know how to take pictures.
I'm a sexy motherfucker.
I know how to take pictures.
That's right.
That's me with platinum hair.
Yeah.
Come on.
Every time I see that face in the pictures, I'm just always kind of like, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Yeah.
Like it's, I hear it.
There's the black and white shot. Black and white shot. Come
You
on.
look like fucking Gary Newman right there.
Yeah. Or fucking Nick Rhodes.
Or a little bit like Nick Rhodes.
Rhodes, yeah.
Like if Gary Newman and Nick Rhodes somehow had a baby.
There's me at 16.
With your
Yeah,
Rick
the
Springfield
boy Rick
hair.
Springfield. You did Jesse's girl.
I put that picture, I photoshopped that picture onto the cover of a copy of Teen Beat
Yeah.
from 1986. It was super hilarious.
That-
And people fell for it, too.
Yeah, they thought I was on Team Beat.
I did a good job if I do say so myself.
That's me with
It looked real.
Platinum as fuck. Platinum as fuck. Yeah, I really look like fucking Nick Rhodes right there.
Yeah, you do.
Look at my sexy ass. Yes.
You look
I've just arrived.
Yeah.
The ship is important.
That's some important shit, Tom.
Yeah. Let me hold this tree still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's holding up the whole
Holding up the
forest,
whole
you
fucking
guys.
tree.
Super
Yeah.
important. Yeah, DVD Dragon said looks like Gary Newman pegged Nick Rhodes.
Fucking faggots.
Ooh, and now I want to see
fucking
that.
faggot. You fucking bastards.
Ooh, I'm going somewhere with that. I like that idea.
What's funny is
I'll
this-
store that away.
Oh,
for
this
later.
chick. I've been seeing this chick appear. She's this Mexican chick. She
that?
cut her nose off.
Oh, that's the girl without a nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This chick's bizarre. She's this Mexican goth chick. She cut her own nose off to look more like a zombie.
I mean, okay.
That's some weird shit, man.
It's her nose.
Yeah.
Full Metal Nosferatu asks, Jenny, have you heard of those vomit doll movies? Yes. I have no interest in seeing them. Me neither. But I hear the director is a true crime case in the making. Oh, I bet. Yeah, I can watch fucked up horror movies all day long, but anything having to do with vomit or shit, no thanks. I'm out. I've gotten better about watching vomit because I used to not be able. I couldn't even watch that scene in Stand By Me. You guys know what scene I'm talking about. The pie eating thing. Like, I couldn't even watch that. Now I can watch it because it's just funny. But it's just like, I still can't. Anything where like somebody throws up and like somebody drinks it, and it's like, ugh, even thinking about it like makes me want to barf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and like I said, anything to do with poop. So I watched like the Human Centipede movies, but just like the idea of it, I'm just kind of like the whole time I was like gagging the whole fucking time. Like, that's so fucking nasty. So nasty.
They're in there laughing at the pictures. Fucking DVD Dragon goes, Tom got major swag. Might want to turn you gay. Might turn you gay. Careful, Zach.
Yeah, Tom's gonna turn some people gay. And you gotta watch out.
Yeah.
He might.
Hi, Desert goes, yeah, you look just like Nick Rhodes.
Yeah. In a couple pictures, sometimes you do.
I do, yeah.
Sometimes you do. Yeah. Nick Rhodes was my second favorite. Simon was my first favorite. out of all the Duran Duran members.
You got the wrist.
I was talking to, we have a friend at the club whose name is also Jennifer. And she's actually older than we are. How old is she? She's 60, right?
Who?
That Jennifer girl, the little curly redheaded. She had the Duran Duran shirt on last week. Because we were talking about Duran Duran.
Yeah, she's 60-something.
60-something. And she's always out there dancing. And so we were talking about Duran Duran because she had a Duran Duran shirt on. And so we were like ranking all the members. Because I was a big Duran Duran fan back in like the early 80s. Because I was all into like new wave and all that kind of stuff. So, but I was like, she's also a Simon girl. Because I was like, yeah, Simon first all day. Then Nick Rhodes. Everybody was like into John Taylor. It's like, I don't know. I don't really see it. I was like, I thought the drummer Roger was hotter. Sorry. Like, John would have been like fourth. Maybe Andy be fifth. They're all hot. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I don't want any of them to feel, yeah, I'm sure they care. But, you know what I mean? I don't want anyone to feel disparaged by me ranking them in such a manner because I don't usually do that with people. But I was like, out of all of the hotness, it's like I probably would have banged any of them back in the day, but, you know, in order of preference. You know what I'm saying? Guitar Girl says Duran Duran is awesome. I agree. I always really, really liked them. I didn't, I kind of feel like after, I think the last album of theirs that I bought, and this is going way back, was Big Thing, which I think came out in 1990? I don't remember. And I didn't really like it. Like, I liked like 2 songs on it, and the rest of it was kind of like, meh, yeah, all right. And then, like, over the years, like, some of their later songs kind of grew on me and stuff. Like, Tom likes some of their later songs, like Electric Barbarella and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. I'm still kind of like, Rio's still my favorite. Well, Rio and the first album are kind of like, Tom's favorite is Notorious.
Yeah, I like Notorious.
From 1987.
Well, actually,
which I didn't love when it came out, but I like it more now. Like, it grew on me over the years.
My favorite studio album was Notorious. My actual favorite album was Arena.
The live one, yeah. That also had Wild Boys, like a studio track on it.
Duran sounded a lot better live, fucking from the recordings that I heard. It wasn't as polished, and it was more energy.
They were a good live band. Like, they sounded really good live, I thought. And they would do, like, cool-ass covers. One of my favorite covers that they did, they didn't do I was going to say they didn't do a huge amount of covers, but they did cover Fame and, like, some other stuff.
They did a lot of covers.
But they did a live cover of Make Me Smile, Come Up and See Me by Cockney Rebel. And I don't think they ever, like, did a studio version of it, but they would do it live, and they did it on, was it a B-side on Arena or something like that? But it's like, man, that is one of the best covers ever. I love that song. I love that.
I think my favorite cover that Duran did was fucking Femme Fatale.
Velvet Underground song?
Yeah.
Man, everybody covered that song.
Yeah.
That's like one of those songs like that Leonard Cohen song, Hallelujah, that everybody and their mom has covered.
Yeah.
Everybody did Femme Fatale. Didn't REM do Femme Fatale?
I don't know.
I think maybe they also did it. Just like kind of, a lot of people have covered, what's that other Velvet Underground song?
See, Guitar Girl and the other girls in there saying that, yeah, Notorious is great. Yeah, Notorious came out, I was a senior in high school when I was in São Paulo, Brazil. And that whole album basically was what my fucking senior year in Brazil was like. Because I was old enough to go to clubs in Brazil. I was old enough to go as a junior. So I was in Brazilian clubs, fucking, and some of them were school friends, and some of them were just people from Brazil at these clubs. And this was happening near downtown São Paulo, you know, fucking near Rua Augusta, where all the hookers were. And if you listen to Notorious is about partying, blow, hookers, schoolgirls who were
like
selling pussy.
A lot of their shit was.
All their shit is fucking seedy nightlife stuff. That was the background they came from. That was
it's like, hey, we're doing cocaine and fucking models on yachts.
Yeah. And this girl, she's selling pussy, you know, in school, and fucking, you know, she's meeting El Presidente and shit. She runs the shit. He may run the company during the daytime, but in the bedroom, fucking, she runs El Presidente. You know, she runs
all the shit.
She runs the shit. So, you know, it kind of got merged with what I was doing in Brazil at the time, and it's always kind of takes me back. It was a good time for me, and the album still holds up to me.
Yeah, like I said, I like it a lot more now.
It had a brass section.
Yeah.
You know, fucking
Then
the brass section made a big difference. Fucking trumpets and fucking trombones and shit.
Yeah, it had like a funk element to it, which I kind of, well, their shit always had a little bit of that, but I kind of feel like it became more pronounced like later on.
Yeah. Had sax in it.
Yeah. Yeah, American Military 100 said, I remember in the early 80s, the British pop press tried creating a feud between Duran Duran and Haircut 100. I kind of remember that, like, because I used to get, like, a lot of the British music magazines, like, in the early 80s, even though I grew up in the U.S., obviously. But, which is funny. I like Haircut 100 is a good band, too, but obviously they weren't nearly as fucking big as Duran Duran. I mean, Duran Duran were, like, the second coming of the Beatles, you know what I mean, at least over here. Tetsu asked, do you know Guar? I do actually. I don't know them personally, obviously, but I've seen them multiple times. Although the last time I saw them, I don't even remember how many years ago it was. I've seen them at least 3 times. Me and my brother used to go see them, like back in the fucking probably 90s. We saw them back in the 90s and maybe early 2000s. Yeah. At least 3 times that I remember. It might have been more times than that. Because they used to play here a lot. Them and the Genitortures, because they're from here. Like,
yeah, we met her.
Yeah, we've met her before.
Once or twice we run into her.
Yeah, well, she used to go to... I grew up in Daytona Beach, and there's a store there. It's not there anymore, but it's called Judy's Jazzy Boutique, and they sold, like, all the stripper clothes and stuff. And the 2 old ladies that ran it, it was a mother and daughter, and they were super awesome. They had, like, sex shop in the back, too. It was, like, super cool. It was just like this seedy, and they had money, so they just opened whenever they fucking felt like it. So it's like you'd show up and it's be closed. It's the middle of the day. You know what I mean? You had to like kind of know when to go there. And you'd hang out there for like ages and ages, and they would show you stuff. They had like wigs and pasties and all kind of crazy shit. And I got a lot of clothes there. But Jen from the Genitortures used to shop there. So she would come in every now and then. So like they had all kind of stories about her because they knew her really well. We ran into her at... Fuck. What show was that? The last time we saw her was at... What show was that we were at? Was it the Gary Newman show? No.
No.
It was...
No, it was...
It wasn't Combat Christ, because I didn't go to that.
It might have been Gary Newman. It might have been Gary Newman.
It was at the same place. It was at... What the fuck is the name of that place? It's not there anymore, but...
Wasn't Nitzareb. You weren't with me when I saw Nitzareb.
Like I said, I thought it was Combat Christ, but I was with Mike at that show, not you. So, but it was that same venue. That was the same venue we saw Gary Newman at. What the fuck was the name of that place?
It must have been Gary Newman.
It must have been Gary Newman.
It's either Gary Newman... Oh, wait a minute, no.
No.
It was Peter Murphy, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe it was Peter
Murphy. I think it was Peter Murphy.
We did see Peter Murphy there.
Yeah.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of shows there, but it's like, what the fuck was the name of that place?
The Firestone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name of that place to save my fucking
life. It's
life.
huge.
It's not called that anymore.
Not there anymore, yeah.
But they used to do a lot of shows there. I don't think I ever saw Guar there. I saw Guar at The Edge, which is not there anymore. I think it's a country bar now, sadly. I saw them there 2 times, and I saw them one other place. Fuck, now I can't remember. I've seen so many fucking shows over the years, I can't even fucking remember.
What time is a guitar girl in Norway right now? Gotta be daytime, huh? That's the other side of the planet.
I don't know, probably. Tetsuo said, I got laid in Daytona. What a coincidence.
Yeah.
I was born in Daytona. I don't go there all that often. My dad still lives there. Well, kind of. And my brother still lives there with his wife. So I go there every now and then, but I don't know. It's very rednecky.
Nosferatu said he'd heard me talk about Venom, but he wanted to know if I was a band of Celtic Frost. Yeah, I liked them too. They had a fucking really good cover of fucking Mexican radio that he used to like.
Oh, the Wall of Voodoo song?
Yeah. They had a really good black metal fucking cover of that.
That's a great song,
That came
actually.
out around the same time, late 80s. And I liked them, but I didn't follow them very closely because only a few years later I started getting into goth. I was listening to fucking Sisters of Mercy and stuff, First and Last and Always album, and started branching out into into different stuff, I'd kind of like run metal into the ground. But the black metal, I liked it. It was just kind of limited. A lot of times it was like Cookie Monster vocals and shit. I got sick of that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but I did like. I liked fucking Merciful Fate. I think they're from Norway. Wasn't Merciful Fate from Norway? King Diamond. And he sang like a fucking crazy child, or a woman or something. It was fucking bizarre. He'd do these voices and everything, and I liked that. Although it wasn't really black metal, like it was kind of like it wasn't even really very hard looking back on it. It was kind of almost like Iron Maiden. I still liked them though.
Well, here's the thing, and maybe you would know this, or maybe somebody would know this. What exactly is the distinction between black metal and death metal?
Black metal is satanic.
Well, yeah, I know that.
That's the main. It's just the topic.
That's all it is?
It's the topic.
I mean, that's what I thought, but I wasn't really sure.
Yeah.
Whereas death metal could just be like a much broader...
Anything. Yeah.
Okay. So black metal is just almost like a subgenre? Is what you're saying, kind of?
It could be that Slayer was kind of in the middle of all of them.
King Diamond is from Denmark.
Denmark, okay, yeah. Denmark. I knew it was Scandinavian. That was a good band. It's amazing that they got famous. Because the metal scene was really out of L.A. and fucking London. But I guess it's not that far. It's not that far.
I feel like the LA metal scene was a lot more glam.
Yeah, but that's where the money was.
Yeah.
They were all fighting to get in that. That's why the Sisters of Mercy, Andrew Eldritch rebuilt the Sisters of Mercy around German musicians trying to fucking serve the LA scene with the fucking Vision Thing album.
Yeah. Which is a good album.
It was okay,
but it wasn't really...
You could definitely tell they were trying to go California.
Yeah, it was very glam metal. It had a lot of glam metal influence.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked a lot of the songs on it, though.
They were trying to go like Motley Crue.
Kind of, but not as shitty as
Not as shitty. Better writing. Although, I'm going to say...
early Motley Crue was actually pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, it was almost goth. The first album kind of sounded like death metal. Or not death metal, it was death rock.
Yeah.
Had a death rock influence. Fucking... And then they were wearing their girlfriend's clothes.
Yeah.
Which, those are girls' boots, bro. Those are girls' fucking pants that he's wearing. That's his girlfriend's pants.
Yeah.
And dudes would say, no, man, no, it's not. No, they're getting their shit special made.
Shut up.
No, that's his girlfriend's pants.
Those are man clothes.
And she's a stripper. Fucking, that's
those totally wrong.
She's doing his hair. Later. His hair is fucking, his girlfriend
We totally
did his
stole
hair.
our girlfriend's blouses. And
exactly.
Come on. Everybody knew it was good. It's fine. Just admit it.
Well, they didn't make cool dudes. They didn't make cool men's clothing in the 80s.
No, they did not. It was really hard to get anything good.
Yeah.
Like, if you had the money to have something special made,
you had to be custom. But they didn't have the money, so they just wore their girlfriend's clothes.
I mean, that's the easiest thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And even Billy Idol, he had some money, but he just fucking took a wetsuit and cut the fucking shoulders off of it and fucking making videos with that. It was a wetsuit he had on.
Yeah.
And that and motorcycle gear. Or things like motorcycle gear.
I mean, that's all the shit we used to do. Like, before it was easy to get cool shit.
Yeah, it was do it yourself.
You know, you had to go to like a thrift store and find some old lady's dress or something and cut it up or put patches on it. Or...
Billy Idol and some of those other new wave dudes and punk rock dudes like Adam Ant, they were wearing these belts that looked like they were made out of puka shells. Remember that belt?
Yeah.
With the white puka shells on them?
Yeah.
Where'd they get those? I want one of them.
You want a puka?
Yeah, like it's got a puka shell.
I remember my dad had a puka shell necklace in the 70s.
Shell.
Well, I kind of feel like everybody had a puka shell necklace in the 70s. It was
looked like puka shells.
It was required.
It may not have been puka shells.
Every motherfucker had a puka shell.
It might have been beads, but I think it was puka shells.
Oh my god!
Leather belt with puka shells, and it looked cool though. It did. He's wearing it. He's wearing it in the fucking
You could get
Eyes Without a Face video. Remember?
I never really looked at his belt.
When the flames are coming up around him, and he's got the executioners behind him, and he's fucking got the fucking leather motorcycle fucking gear, and he's wearing a goddamn puka shell belt, looking cool as shit with those boots. Hell yeah! Billy was fucking. He was cool, man. Especially when he beefed up some, because he was so fucking skinny. You know, he looked like a little junkie when he started.
He was a junkie.
Yeah, he was a junkie. Yeah.
I mean, that's why he looked like that.
Yeah.
They were all fucking junkies. That was kind of a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a big thing in the 80s, everyone being gay.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. That's why they all looked like that. That's why they all had great cheekbones. You know?
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, like when they were young. But you know what I mean. Poopy shells? No, puka shells.
Puka. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, what are they? They're just kind of, in the 70s, there was this short-lived trend. You can probably find a picture of it.
I'm going to find a picture of the
There
belt.
was a short-lived trend for men to wear these necklaces that were made of these little shells.
Yeah.
Like seashells, but they were little bitty.
Yeah, and they were like a Hawaiian little
Kind of, yeah.
puka shell thing.
It was like a big thing for a minute, like in
Yeah.
the 70s. My dad had one, like everybody had them, like in the 70s. And I don't know, I feel like it didn't last that long. But that's why I thought it was funny that you brought that up, because like, oh my god, I forgot all about puka shells.
Yeah, he had it. I'm gonna find it because it was on a. He was wearing it on a poster.
Okay. I don't remember
the
that. But like I
poster
said, I
taken-
probably wasn't looking at it.
Taken from the White Wedding video. Right here.
Let me
Right
think.
fucking here.
Okay, don't play the song though.
No.
because we're gonna
I
get
want
demonetized.
the poster.
Oh, okay, I see. Gotcha.
I'm gonna show
I
you some
gotcha.
fucking puka shell shit here.
Some puka shells.
All right.
Although then you should find like a 70s puka shell necklace, because I kind of feel like that's where it got popular. I don't even know where the fuck that came from. It was just like a big thing in the 70s. I remember everybody having those.
See?
Those are not puka shells, though.
Yeah, it's not puka shell.
That's
something-
definitely not puka shells.
It looks like puka shells.
No, that not really. Puka shells are smaller than that.
That's what I'm talking about. It was a leather belt with a bunch of fucking spikes or fucking metal studs in it, and it had those beads. They're beads now. I remember them more
They
as like puka
definitely
shell.
look like...
Rosary beads, maybe?
No, there's some kind of shell, but I can't remember what the name of them is. But puka shells are little. They're like a lot littler
they were a lot
than
smaller.
that.
They were like the size of a
Like almost like a periwinkle. Those things you find at the beach.
yeah.
Like those little bitty shelled creatures.
Oh shit!
Jesus
They were-
Christ, dude.
Nothing gonna hurt you. It was like a puka shells were the size of a fucking sugar pop. They look like sugar pops, sugar pop cereal.
Yeah, they were little.
Yeah.
So it's like those are kind of like those big... The fuck were the name of those things? They were like white and they had like little teethy things on them. I don't remember what they were called. Or if they even had a name, I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I was fucking running around in that belt when I was a kid. I said, man, I want that fucking belt.
I want that belt.
Yeah.
You could probably make that.
Yeah. I need to get a better photograph of exactly what it is. There's more to it than that. It's a leather belt with those beads wrapped around it on a line, on a string. I had to see the video. In the video, it's easier to see. He's running around in it. And it... That's pretty clear, but what are these red things?
I can't see what the red things are.
Yeah. See them?
Fullman on Asferatu says, Tom, look for a picture of Lemmy and a pair of Daisy Dukes with a samurai sword.
I've seen it.
I've seen that picture. I feel like that's a pretty famous picture.
Yeah, he was known for that. He was a British dude that didn't have any goddamn sense, and he'd show up. He'd show up to the fucking California club that he used to hang out in all the time. Fucking, it was a bar that had what was the name of that place? There was a bar where he would hang out with a lot of rock stars that hang out there. And he was there every day, evidently. And he'd sit up at the bar and fucking drink.
Yeah, he could drink a lot.
Yeah. And he would fucking show up in cutoffs and play video games and pinball machines and shit.
He says the Rainbow. That was the name of it.
Rainbow? Was that what's
The name of the place.
No.
I mean, that's
That
a
might have
pretty,
been one of
that's
the
a pretty
places.
famous
That's not the one
place.
I'm thinking of.
That's a pretty famous place.
I want to say like the Rattlesnake or fucking some shit like that. It had like a manly name.
You just wanted it to be
It had
more
a
badass.
manly name that they had back then. It was where
You
you
wanted
could
it to
hang
be more
out.
bad. The manhole?
What's that?
The manhole?
No.
The dick slinger?
No. It had, fuck you, man. It had something. He was. And fucking, I can't remember what other dude from a band was fucking confronted him about it. I think it was like one of the dudes from fucking Anthrax or something.
Look, Lemmy, we need to talk
Yeah,
about your
he's like,
shorts.
what is up with these fucking shorts? He goes, it's hot, man. he goes, yeah, but these fucking cutoffs. He's like, so what? He just, and he walked around in them fucking
Deal
things.
with it, bitch.
And he'd have the cutoffs, and he'd wear a t-shirt and then a fucking cutoff jean jacket, denim. These shit were blue denim, right? And he'd have cowboy boots on.
Of course.
With a cowboy hat. He looked gay as shit and that stuff. And he had skinny little legs. Lemmy was not athletic, it was just fucking. Lemmy was very cool though.
But see, that's why we all
like
love
Lemmy. Lemmy was cool, yeah.
Because he did not give one single fuck what anybody thought. No. He's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna wear whatever the fuck I want.
Lemmy was big.
And the more it pisses you off, the happier it makes me.
Lemmy was really big into World War II stuff. Airplanes and tanks and shit. He would read whole books on that. There's even a video of him running around in a Hetzer, which is a German fucking anti-tank gun, mobile anti-tank gun, or what you call it, a fucking Jagdpanzer, fucking anti-tank assault gun, some of that. I think is what you call it. And he's driving it around. But he evidently had a friend that had one somewhere up in Europe. But he was the dude that would fucking geek out over World War II machinery. Fighter planes and tanks and guns and shit. I probably would have had fun talking to him about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, y'all would have got drunk together and had a good old time.
He loved that kind of shit.
Guitar Girl said, in 2007, I did 6 shows with Motorhead in Norway and Denmark. That was awesome.
6 years of
6 shows.
6 shows. Okay.
With Motorhead.
Motorhead. We're doing what?
In Norway and Denmark.
What were you doing in the shows you were playing?
I don't know. That's pretty rad, though. Who doesn't love Motorhead?
Motorhead was good.
I kind of feel like Motorhead is one of those bands that like everybody kind of likes.
Motorhead was one of the reasons why I liked Venom, because Venom to me, that band sounded like Motorhead, but it was like a satanic Motorhead.
Satanic Motorhead.
Yeah.
Backline Tech, she says.
What's that?
Backline Tech.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Full Metal Nosferatu says, who would win a wrestling match, Lemmy or God? Lemmy. All day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, you don't even have to ask that question.
Yeah.
Lemmy's a lot cooler than God. I was laughing at everybody thinking we said poopy shells.
Yeah.
Everybody forgot about puka shells.
Yeah.
Find a picture of some like crazy dude in the 70s.
Puka shells?
Wearing puka shells, and a bonus points if they have a huge collared shirt on, or like a leisure suit or something. Although I kind of feel like the puka shell look, you had to have like a big collared shirt with like some weird ass palm tree shit on it or something like that, and you had to unbutton down to here with like a big fucking hairy chest, and then you have super super tight white polyester pants on, and then like brown boots with like stacked heels, and kind of big Bee Gees hair. This is what I'm imagining.
When I was talking about puka shells, I was talking about, because they're showing a bunch of different ones. Oh shit.
Occasionally asked if we like Bjork music.
Yeah, I like Bjork.
I actually like Bjork.
Yeah.
I got into her old band, the Sugar Cubes, back in the 80s. And man, they were fucking great. That one album that everybody raved about, Life's Too Good, that came out that had Birthday on it. Man, that was a great fucking album. They had a band before that was called Kukl. Yeah. Like in Iceland, I don't really think they were that well known here until like later on.
That was the puka shells I was talking about.
Yeah, see, that's not what I don't think that's what I'm thinking about. Those.
They're both calling them puka shells.
Oh, okay.
They're both calling them puka shells.
I guess, but I never thought of those as being puka shells.
I was thinking it was those. When I say puka shell,
he's thinking that. That's not what I'm thinking of, though. Yeah. I know those, but I didn't think those were called puka shells.
Yeah,
show the other picture.
All right,
because the other picture is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
When you said
the other common one is like that is that's also puka shell.
That's what everyone was wearing in the 70s.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Like my dad had one like that. Everybody had those.
In California, we saw these all the time too. Puka shell. Puka shell.
Okay. So they call those puka shells too.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't really know.
I thought that's what Billy Idol had wrapped around that fucking.
I mean,
see what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
similar.
It does look like that. Okay.
Similar, yeah.
That's probably what.
That's what I thought it was.
I just didn't know that they called that the same.
Actually, if I were to wrap puka shells around a fucking belt, I could fucking top Billy Idol. That would probably look really fucking cool. It had like a strand of 4 of them going around a leather belt with a bunch of spikes and shit. That'd probably look cool.
Why not?
Yeah.
DVD Dragon gave us a super chat.
Oh, thank you.
And says, Tom, what stack is Bakar on?
Bakar Nabiva. I showed her picture of her earlier. Bakar started on things like fucking Anavar.
I gotta pee again.
Yeah. I think she basically said that. She started on Anavar when she was young. And then that was like the last thing I heard her say. But looking at her, probably Deca Durabolin, because women can tolerate that pretty well, especially if it's NPP, which is another. Well, okay, it's another form of Nandrolone. Nandrolone can come in Deca Durabolin or just Durabolin, which is the original one. The original was Durabolin, and it was another word for it is NPP, Nandrolone phenylpropionate. I love Nandrolone phenylpropionate, NPP. It's dry. You don't retain a lot of water. It feels like Tren in terms of how dry it is. But it's kind of weak. It only comes in like 100 milligram per milliliter, so you have to inject a lot of it to get any power out of it. I have fucking found it occasionally offered in 200 milligram per milliliter. But the prices weren't very good. And it's just not reliable to get it. Probably Deca. Probably like 150 milligrams a week for like fucking 3 or 4 month cycles and then come off of it for a few months. Probably like that. She's young. So she probably not taking a whole lot. I'm gonna show the audience who it is he's talking about.
Oh, High Desert, thank you very much. He says, I think those are cowrie shells. That's what those are called. I knew they had a name.
Which ones?
The bigger ones.
The ones that I was showing?
Cowrie shells.
Okay, but it said puka on the line.
I know, but like I said, when I was thinking puka shells, I was thinking those little ones, like the second one you showed.
Okay.
And I was like, I think those bigger ones have a different name. Okay. Cowrie shells, that's what they are.
We called them puka shells.
Thank you very much.
We called all that shit puka shells, and evidently other people did too.
I guess
it's listed as that.
I guess so. Yeah, because High Desert said aren't puka shells from Africa, and once they were used as currency. That's what I heard.
I don't know. I thought it was some Hawaiian stuff.
Yeah, maybe. It was a very, like, surfer.
Yeah, surfers and shit.
It was a very surfer thing. But like I said, it was kind of, like, spread all around the country. Because my dad totally, and he didn't surf.
Yeah.
My uncle did. But my dad didn't. And my dad totally did have one of those big, wide-collared shirts that had, like... His didn't have palm... Was it palm trees? Maybe it was bonsai trees, now that I'm thinking about it. Could have been bonsai trees.
That's Bakar Nabiva. That's who he was asking about. And that chick is just all thighs. Yeah. She lives here. She's here in Florida. She's from, I think, Ukraine originally. But she's not Ukrainian ethnicity. She's actually, she's Pakistani. And she kind of fucking told her story in some interviews. When she was in Ukraine, they made fun of her because she had skinny little legs when she was a kid. So she just started working out like crazy with her legs. And then she started taking anabolics. She's on steroids. Some of the times, at least. Her parents disowned her for it. But they want nothing to do with her. But she don't give a shit. Man, she lives here now.
Who needs parents like that?
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, but she looks great. That's her. She's here in Florida. See, she's here in Florida with those damn electric golf carts.
Oh my God, everybody drives this around our damn neighborhood.
Yeah.
I look out the window. Like it's a fucking old farts going by in their fucking golf carts.
Yeah.
Because there's a golf course in this complex. So. Tetsuo said, will Guar ever come back to the Edge? Well, I doubt it because the Edge isn't there anymore. The Edge is now... It was a country bar for a while after the Edge, because the Edge closed probably in the 90s or the early 2000s. Then I think it was a country bar for a while. Now I think it might be a restaurant, but I haven't been in that part of Orlando for a while, so I don't really know what it is now. But man, they used to have all the good shows there. I saw so many bands there. Visage was good too, but that closed a lot earlier than the Edge did.
Now, you think Jen's voice is fucking rough and deep. Bakar sounds like a fucking duck. She's She's funny. Trying to see if I can get some more. What was the name of that fucking L.A. bar? I'm gonna ask it.
What, the Rainbow?
No.
Or the one that
the other one
showed up with the shorts?
Yeah.
And was confronted by the
No, he
number
didn't
of
hang out at
antics?
the Rainbow all the time. He hung out at that other one.
But like the Rainbow is a pretty famous one though.
Yeah, it wasn't that one that he hung out at though.
Full Metal Nosferatu said my uncle had a Jack Daniels golf cart. Like it was like it had like Jack Daniels logos on it and stuff. That's actually kind of awesome. Jesus, I hope I never become an old person like that. Please don't let me do that. I'm not driving around in a fucking golf cart in the neighborhood.
I want to say it's the Rattlesnake. No.
That doesn't sound like a bar in LA. The Viper Room?
Viper Room. The Viper Room is where I believe that's what I believe it is that one. Let me see. I'm gonna double. I think it might have been the Viper Room.
I mean, you saying rattlesnake just reminded me.
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
like,
Viper
I was
Room.
like thinking along snake lines. I was like, wasn't there a place called the Viper Room? I feel like.
And when I looked at it, they showed it, and I was like, "That's the Viper Room." It would look like it wasn't impressive looking at all.
Well, that's the thing. It's like a lot of the place. It doesn't really matter what it looks like on the outside.
Yeah.
It's the shit that goes on, and it's well. I mean, look at fucking CBGB for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
That place looked like a fucking hole in the wall.
Yeah.
But it got famous because of everybody that hung out there and went. I mean, you know. You can say the same about the place, like about when Barbarella was downtown.
I'm looking at the Viper
It's like
Room.
it didn't really look like that much from the outside.
I'm looking at the Viper Room, and I don't think that's it. That's not how I remember it.
Papa says the Viper Room is owned by Johnny Depp. When did he buy that? I don't remember hearing about that. Yeah, Full Metal Nosferatu said it was customized with Jack Daniels logos and it was painted black. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like golf carts are like inherently uncool. So it's like no matter what you do with them, it's still just you're driving around in a golf cart. You know what I mean? That seems like just such a quintessentially old dude thing to do.
Well, little kids drive them around here, though.
Well, I know that, but it still seems like an old... I was like, look, it's a little kid who is also an old person. I don't know. It's just like an old person thing to me. It's just kind of... I don't know. I kind of equate it with people that have those scooters at Walmart. You know what I mean? Where they go and get this because they're too fat to walk around.
Okay, I'm asking Grok 3, what bar did Lemmy from Motorhead always hang out in? Hold on. It will know. This fucking AI is great.
Yeah, he says my uncle golfs and drinks Jack religiously.
Yeah, you're right. It was the Rainbow Bar.
See?
Let me go look. You're right. It was a Rainbow Bar.
That's why you shouldn't doubt people when they tell you stuff, Tom.
Let me go look at it because I saw it. Let me see if it's the same one that I saw.
Papa says River Phoenix died out the side of that bar. Yeah, like I said,
The Viper Room, yeah.
That's a pretty famous place, like I said. Pretty famous.
Rainbow Bar and Grill. Let me see what it looks like. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. On Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was going like, let me hung out there. That.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was it.
It kind of looks like an IHOP.
Yeah, like an IHOP or something.
A little bit. Maybe it used to be an IHOP.
Yeah. It didn't, I don't think it looked like that during his time.
No, probably not.
Because I remember it didn't have that big sign. See what it looked like in the 90s. Yeah. Yeah.
Did it look scuzzier?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say. Looks like that wasn't the thing. They're not giving me a good photographs of it from back in time.
Maybe nobody took pictures.
Yeah, but
of
I
it
look
back
at
then.
it and then I'm looking at the interior and like, yeah, that's it. See that? See, they got the little fucking games and shit where fucking he would go play. I remember that bar. It was like a dive.
Yeah.
The dive fucking place.
Well, man.
Here in Florida, this would be like nothing.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like there's something about a certain kind of dive bar.
Yeah.
You can't really replicate it. It just has to happen organically.
When I saw the Viper, I was like, no, that's not it. It didn't look that way. It was, and then AI said it was rainbow, and I looked at rainbow. Yeah, that was it. That's it. I haven't seen it in years and years.
Guitar Girl asked how far we were from the Rainbow Bar. 3,000 something miles.
Yeah, that's like
it's all the way.
That's like another country.
We're in Florida, and that's in California.
Yeah.
So that's like way on the totally other side of the United States.
Yeah.
It would take us several days to get there.
Yeah.
Several days. How many miles? 3,000 something miles?
I don't know.
3,000 something miles.
Too far. That's another world.
That's pretty funny.
Florida's big, man. Florida itself is big. Bigger than a European country.
It's long.
Yeah.
You can drive, if you start at Key West, which is the very southmost point, and drove north, it would take about 8 hours before you even got out of the state. Actually, maybe longer.
Guitar Girl, wrap your head around this. Texas is about twice the size of Germany. All right.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, you can drive for 8 hours and still be in Florida.
Yeah.
People ask me, like, when I went to the UK and lived in the UK for a little while, and they asked me if I knew people in Miami. I was from Daytona, Orlando area. I'm like, you guys know that's like a 5-hour drive, right?
Yeah.
Miami's like 5 hours away. I've been there a couple of times, but it's far.
Kaysen said that she's lovely. Fake booties. No, she doesn't have fake boobs. Bakar's all natural. She's just steroids.
For some reason, when I thought that place looked like an IHOP, I was thinking of, you know, that salon that we park at for Barbarella, and how it was very clearly used to be a Waffle House.
She says bigger than a European country. You serious? Yeah, I think Florida's bigger than Netherlands. Let me see.
Yeah, check.
Let me see. Yeah.
Like I said, it's narrow.
Yeah.
Because if you drive from the east coast to the west coast of Florida, it takes about 3-ish hours. But driving from the southmost point to the northmost point is about 8-ish hours. Yeah. So it's long. It's not wide, but it's long.
The United States, the states were the size of European countries. They were their own governments, their own countries. When it was formed back in the 1700s, state meant nation. This is the United Nations of America. Each one of them was independent. The federal government wasn't the government. We had state governments. That was a different government laid over it, kind of like the EU or the UN or something. That was like the UN. Over time, it calcified, though. The civil wars happened.
It's just funny because every now and then I'll be watching like a true crime show, and they'll be talking about, hey, this crime that happened in some city in Florida. I'm like, I don't even know where the fuck that is. And I've lived here my whole life. You know what I mean? There's places here I haven't even heard of. So, I've been around, like I've been up to, I don't think I've ever been to the Panhandle, actually. But I've been to like North Florida, I've been to Jacksonville.
It says Florida is roughly
like
the same size as Greece.
Okay. But like I said, it's hard to say because it's longer.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not wide, but it's long. Like you can drive, because I used to drive from Daytona, which is on the east coast, like on the Atlantic Ocean, to Tampa, which is on the west coast on the Gulf of Mexico, and it was about a 2 hour and 45 minute drive, about. But going from top to bottom is like way longer.
Okay, Florida is bigger than the Netherlands. It's bigger than Switzerland. It's bigger than Belgium. It's bigger than Denmark. It's bigger than Slovakia. It's bigger than Czech Republic. It's bigger than Hungary. It's bigger than Portugal. Bigger than Austria. Ireland, Lithuania, Latvia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Estonia, Slovenia, Luxembourg, Montenegro, and Malta. It's bigger than all those.
Okay. I mean, Malta's pretty small, to be fair. You know. But yeah, so it's I don't know. It's a big place. Like I said, I grew up here, but there's still a lot of places I haven't been to. I'm trying to I've been to a lot of other places in the country too, but Mostly on the East Coast. You know, been to Savannah. I've been to Baltimore. Been to DC. Been to New York City. Been to Philadelphia. Haven't really been out west too much. Been to Denver. My sister used to live there. Been to Santa Fe a couple times. Yeah. That was pretty cool. I actually liked Santa Fe.
Oh, they're trying to laugh. Victor, I never said that fucking Florida was bigger than Texas. I said Texas was bigger than Germany.
Yeah, Texas is bigger than Germany.
Yeah, I think it's twice the size.
Yeah, we're not bigger than Texas. Texas is big. Honestly, I think Alaska is the biggest state, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
She says, that's only 1/3 of Europe. Yeah, but I'm just talking about what was bigger and what was the same size. Those other countries are only a little bit bigger. Florida's big.
It is very big. Like I
California's been Texas Texas is even bigger. California's bigger.
And like I said, Alaska might be. Is Alaska the biggest? I thought Alaska was the biggest.
Yeah, Alaska's the biggest.
But people, not many people live there.
The area that we call New England, which is all the little New England states up in the Northeast. If you combine all those together, they're about the size of the combined UK. But those are little bitty states.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff real close together.
Yeah.
But down here, like in the South, it's really everything's kind of spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor says I'm right. Yes, Alaska is the biggest. Twice as big as Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the population is
There's nobody
super,
there,
super
though.
low.
There's nobody there.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the area, it's very small. But yeah, I mean, Florida's big, but obviously Texas is much larger. Much larger. Guitar Girl says, I want to go to Alaska. I wouldn't mind going to Alaska, too. I think it'd be kind of cool. But I've never been there.
There's nothing there.
I don't know. There's cool shit to look at. There's whales and stuff. I wouldn't mind that.
There's no women in Alaska.
Well, why do I give a shit about that?
Did you know that? There's no women.
Hi, Pokey. What's the matter?
What's up?
She's playing with the chair. She's like, I'm going to jump on you in a second. What's the matter? Are you going to poop? What's up? She was like squatting like she was going to poop on the floor.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm just sitting here.
Here, help me with some of this.
Okay. Are you turning your back on us, Pookie? Are you mad?
She's like, why aren't you guys... She wants us to finish this show.
Well, she hasn't torn any books up.
Yeah.
So
she knows what a show is,
so
and she knows
something.
about how long a show is supposed to be. She's like a clock.
So she'll come in and be like, are you guys still in here?
This shit here was...
I'm going to have to start tearing shit up if you guys don't wrap this up soon. She usually goes and starts tearing up books out of but there's Tom put my exercise bike in front of it, so she probably feels like
I don't know what guitar. She says, that's why, Tom. I don't know what I don't even know what you're talking about. That's why what?
We have to kind of
Huh? There's no context. See,
Papa says you can't hurt the chickens in Key West. Yes, I've heard that.
Why can't you hurt chickens in Key West?
I guess it's against the law.
Okay.
You know what? As long as I've lived,
you can't hurt cranes here.
Yeah, the sandhill cranes. No matter how loud they are.
Yeah. They try to come in your house.
And however much they take a dump on your car. And try to knock on your windows to feed them. Because we had them do that.
They'll knock on the doors, try to get you open the door. You look at there's cranes standing there. Big
I could not fucking believe that.
What the fuck you doing here?
Well, see, that's what happens. That's why they tell you not to feed them, Tom. Yeah. You gave them granola or bread or something like that, and they remembered that shit. And then, months later, we hear a knock on the door like a person, and we pull the shades aside, and there's a whole bunch of sandhill cranes looking in the window like that.
Yeah.
Hey!
Because I fed them.
You got any more of that bread?
It's because I fed them. I fed them and I fed their baby.
It was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
They also knocked on the back door by my office at the old house, too. Scared the crap out of me. Yeah.
You open up and there's birds standing there. They're big.
It's a whole bunch of birds.
They're like 5 feet tall, some of them.
Pretty much, yeah. They're like almost as tall as me. And they look at you with that weird eye, with the red feathers around it.
They're friendly. They just want you to feed them. And they remember you. They'll come back later.
When they have babies.
I've had them fucking knock. I've told them to go away, and I didn't see them for fucking a whole year. And then they come and knock again, and they got a new baby.
They got babies.
They got a new baby, and they're like, look.
Give the baby some food.
Yeah. I'm like, all right. They remember. Baby got food. Yeah. Give them some bread.
Birds are not dumb.
They're not dumb. They remember.
They're really not. But it's like, that was... I wish we had taken a picture of that, Tom. That was so fucking funny.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
I was expecting a person, like something delivered, and I pull the shades aside, and there's like a whole bunch of sandhill cranes standing on the porch.
Here's the thing. I was violating. Because it's against the law to feed them.
You're really not supposed to.
Say you're not supposed to
it's just, well, you're not
protected, but
you're not supposed to feed sandhill cranes. You're not supposed to feed alligators.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, because they're gonna hang around humans, thinking that that's a food source.
You'll never get rid of them,
and they'll never go away. And sandhill cranes are very loud.
They're persistent.
Their call is very loud.
Yeah.
And if you feed them one time, they will never forget that shit, and they will come and like knock on your windows
and ask to come in.
Yeah. And shit like that, and also they do massive poops, and they will like poop right in your car.
Yeah, it's like a cup.
Yeah, like they'll get on top of your car and just shit on it if they're mad at you, and it's a huge shit. So because they're big. Yeah, they're like dinosaur birds.
Yeah, they're kind of fun to deal with, though. I gotta admit,
they're kind of cool.
They're real fun to feed and shit, but you'll never get rid of them afterwards.
No,
they'll come bring you their babies. You feed them too, and they stand back and let you feed the baby. They won't ask for any.
Yeah.
They just sit there and fucking feed him.
Yeah.
And the baby's like, okay, I'm enough. I'm full. And then you can give it to the mama and the daddy. Yeah. And the dad will let you feed. She's like, no, feed the mama first. So there's a hierarchy.
Yeah, they're real. It's weird because they always travel in like family groups. You hardly ever see one by themselves. You always see them in pairs. Or with their kids.
Yeah. And they'll feed the baby, and then they'll feed the mama, and then the dad will eat last. The thing is, though, is that they're coming back the next day.
Yeah, of course. They're like, hey.
And if you chose them away, you might not see them again for a few months, and then they come back.
And then
they remember. It's worn off. We can probably go back there and ask again. Because they're not stupid. They're real smart.
Yeah.
And they've got regular houses they're going to.
Yeah. But like I said, that's why. And the HOA at our old place was like, do not feed the sandhill cranes, but we did anyway.
Yeah.
And they kept coming back.
But I had one family come back a year later with a new baby.
Yeah.
They knew I couldn't resist. I'm like, oh, all right.
You guys are so cute.
All right, I'll take care of this baby.
DVD Dragon says Sandhill Crane, Mothman LARPing.
Yeah, Mothman. That's what Mothman was.
I kind of feel like probably. Because those birds are really big.
Yeah.
Really big.
The size of a small person when they're stretched out and standing up.
I mean, they're about 4 or 5 feet tall, like when they're standing up. And then when they're flying, they have a massive wingspan.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, though, is the Mothman legend happens at night. And sandhill cranes are not active at night. So
That's true.
So if it was a sandhill crane, it was one that had been disturbed.
Yeah. I probably think it was probably like a super big owl.
Or it was totally made up.
Or it was just made up.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some big ass owls, too.
They're huge owls.
Yeah. Like I've seen like a great horned owl in Daytona. I saw it like down by the Winn-Dixie or something like that, like up in the tree, and it was fucking massive. So I could see how that could happen. Probably, like I said, more likely that it was a sandhill crane because they're big. But like you said, you don't really see them too much at night. You see them a lot in the daytime, but they are very, very large.
Yeah, Tammy, squirrels will do the same, but the thing is squirrels never come begging. We've never had a squirrel come and beg.
Well, okay. On my college campus, I made the mistake one time of feeding a squirrel part of my granola bar. And then when I would sit at that bench, that squirrel would come back and climb up my leg and put his little hands out. And if I didn't give him anything, he would try to grab what I had. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you feed him, they don't forget. I had a pet squirrel when I was younger. We found him. He fell out of a tree as a baby, and we raised him. Yeah. So I'm not averse to like the squirrels and stuff. But there was one on my college campus that used to like stalk me.
It's 11:23.
It's 11:23
at night.
PM.
Yeah. What time is it in Norway?
Man. What are we talking about? TV Dragon, do sandhill cranes deliver bales of cocaine like storks deliver babies?
Yeah.
Not that I ever saw.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Wow, that'd be cool.
I'm sure they figured out how to do that.
I mean, that'd be cool if they came to your
percent.
house like to trade cocaine
Here's
for
some
food.
cocaine. Yeah.
Like, hey, give us some bread and we'll give you this.
Give some cocaine. Okay. Yeah. Go,
All right,
go
that's a
give
good
me some more
exchange.
cocaine.
That's a
Thank you
good
very much. We're gonna get rich.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna do some of it, but then we're gonna sell some
We're
of
gonna
it.
sell it. Do it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, High Desert said I made a mistake of feeding squirrels too. Then one got too excited and nipped my finger. Yeah, they're a little high strung. Squirrels are.
The squirrels around here don't come begging. If they came begging, I'd feed them.
Yeah, like we probably talked about after that hurricane that we had.
Baby squirrel.
There were some baby squirrels, 2 baby squirrels that fallen out of a tree like right outside of our window.
They were freezing to death.
And they were freezing. They were like down there, and they were like really. They weren't babies. They had fur on them.
They were young.
But they were young still. Like they didn't have the big floofy tails or anything. So we found them like the next morning.
Yeah, we got video of it
after the storm, and we were like, "Oh my god, they're gonna die!" Like they fell out of their nest or whatever, and we didn't know like where their mom was, like if she'd been blown away in the hurricane or whatever. And so we just brought them inside the house and wrapped them up in a towel and gave them some peanuts and something to drink and stuff, and then put them in the cat carrier because of course Pookie and Bam were like,
they were just like,
"What are these? Whoa. Can we eat these?"
Yeah.
We're like, "No, let's not eat those." And they were just like, "Well, please can we eat them?"
Yeah.
So we had to
Pookie
put them.
was putting her paw out, and touching them.
Yeah, she's
when
like,
I was drying them off, they were fucking frozen. Like they couldn't even move.
Yeah.
They eventually woke up though.
Yeah, we put
dried
them
off.
We put them like wrapped them up in towels, and we put them in the cat carrier. And then Pookie sat there like the whole time in front of the cat carrier.
Yeah.
Looking in there, like waiting.
Yeah, about an hour or so later, they woke up. I took them out front and let them go, and they ran up the tree. They lived in the tree outside my gym. I've seen them come out of there, the whole family.
Yeah, it's a mom.
But only once. Yeah,
it's a mom and those two, and I think there's another one that was also a baby.
They live in a palm tree.
Yeah, like right outside the gym.
Yeah.
There's a palm tree, right? Because you can see the nest, like from the second floor.
I don't know if they moved, though. I've never seen them.
Yeah, I haven't seen them since then. I saw them a few times after that.
I think they might have just been hiding in that tree for the storm.
Maybe so. They might have moved someplace else. Maybe they moved someplace else.
But I saw them, the whole family, like 5 or 6 of them. Yeah. And then
they were all popping out.
Yeah, and one was looking at me like, I know him. I'm looking through because the window's right there.
Yeah, that's that guy.
He's like, that's that dude. And I'm like, hey. Me and Jim was standing next to him like, hey. And then he's like, we were in there. I could tell he had that surprised look on his face.
Yeah, he was like, I recognize you.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah. I was just so glad because I was afraid they were gonna die. They looked really bad. Mm-hmm. They were soaking wet and they were freezing.
Yeah, they weren't even shivering.
And they were
just laying there on the ground.
On the ground, like all night, I presume, because like the hurricane when it hit, it was like the middle of the night. It was like really bad. So it's like they must have been blown out of the tree hours before we saw them.
Well, they've been down there for hours and hours. That happened at night.
Yeah.
We found them fucking in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So they've been there forever.
Or like late morning. I don't even know what time it was, but it was just kind of
10, 11.
So I was kind of like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to make it. So a couple hours later, like when we pulled the towels aside and they were like cheeping and like running around and stuff, I'm like, all right, they're going to be okay. I was like really worried. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't like to see little animals, bad stuff happening to them.
All right, Jen, we've probably been on for a long time. We should probably shut it down.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's getting late.
Somebody was asking what the what the Monday show was going to be.
We don't know yet.
Don't know yet? Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
All right.
Unless you got an idea for a movie, we'll figure something out. Yeah. We don't usually know until like Sunday night.
Yeah.
Then we'll be like scrolling through stuff and be like, "You want to watch that? Yeah, that looks good."
Yeah.
And then we'll like watch that.
All right.
I don't know. We'll figure something out. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up for the evening. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us tonight. It was really fun. It always is really fun on Friday nights. Thank you for all your super chats and all the cool conversation. Have a good weekend, everybody. And we'll see you guys again for the movie review. I don't know what movie it's going to be, but that'll be on Monday night. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. Good night. Good weekend.